Series Hard Rock Bet 300 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway for our sixth round of the NASCAR Xfinity Series scheduled for 2025, and our second straight week on a Saturday afternoon running a very slick, fast 1.5-mile racetrack. Here today, Kyle Larson will be trying to go 2 for 2 to kickstart the NASCAR race weekend after winning the Truck Series race, coming from the rear of the field to the front in the final 40 laps of that event. Here today, he'll be starting mid-pack at 17th, looking to put on a show in the first stage of this one here today. He's got a full 200 laps to try to get it done, and we have seen 5 different winners in the first 5 NASCAR Xfinity Series races this season. We could go 6 for 6 here today. Even if a driver like Kyle Larson doesn't win, we still have a lot of good winless drivers so far on the season. Christian Eck is starting top 5. Sam Mayer top 3 in points. Sheldon Creed still looking for career win number 1. Carson Kvapil's been fast this season for JRM, and many others. Appreciate everybody tuning in here. This is our second live commentary stream of the day and our third of the NASCAR race weekend. We had the truck race last night and then Cup Series practice and qualifying a little bit earlier this afternoon. Our stage splits today in this 200-lap, 300-mile race will be 45, 45, and 110. To make up the total distance for this race. Fuel window going to be right around 60 laps, but tire wear much more abrasive, much more crucial than the fuel run itself. So we will be seeing pit stops throughout each of these stages depending on how cautions lay out. Not for fuel purposes necessarily in stage 1, stage 2, but if we get any cautions, they will definitely be hitting pit road because tires are at the utmost importance here today. There's going to be a lot of slipping and sliding. The sun is out in the Homestead-Miami Speedway area. It is a hot, slick racetrack, which is what we love as racing fans. That's when the drivers are at their working their hardest on the racetrack, as they will be here today. Ripping the wall, and not just ripping the wall around this racetrack, but trying to slide around the bottom to make those slide job passes. We saw quite a few of them be had in that Truck Series race yesterday, and it's going to be a fun watch for today and tomorrow. It was a pretty good truck race overall yesterday. Larson put on a show, yes, but I thought the racing overall was pretty solid, as Homestead-Miami Speedway tends to put on, especially in recent years. The older the asphalt gets around this racetrack, the less and less grip year over year we have going to this track. And it wasn't that long since the last race here. Austin Hill was the most recent winner, obviously in the field today as a full-time Xfinity Series regular. And he will be trying to go for back-to-back wins at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. He won this race in the fall, which locked up his ticket to the championship 4 a season ago. But this year, race number 6 early in the regular season. We'll take a quick look at the point standings before we get into the starting lineup for this race and just kind of go off of how the first 5 races has gone so far for the Xfinity Series this season. Justin Allgaier leads by 19 points over Jesse Love for the regular season championship. Allgaier also leads with the most laps led and the second most top 10 finishes of the year. Tied for the most top 5s alongside Sam Mayer, Austin Hill, and Eric Almirola. As far as his 19-point lead over Jesse Love, each Allgaier and Love are locked into the playoffs with wins on the season. Same for Austin Hill in 4th. We've seen 5 different winners this year, but only 4 of them running for full-time points in the Xfinity Series. Eric Almirola, who is running part-time this season, got his win at Phoenix a couple weeks ago. Connor Zilic got his first career win at COTA, and then Love and Hill on the super speedways of Daytona and Atlanta. Justin Allgaier ended up winning at Las Vegas last week. Outside of Jesse Love, who is sitting second in points, you got Sam Mayer sitting in P3, Austin Hill 4th, Sammy Smith in 5th, Eric Almirola in 6th, despite only running 3 of the first 5 races. He's finished top 5 in all 3 races he has ran so far in 2025. Sheldon Creed is 7th in the point standings, Taylor Gray 8th, Connor Zilic 9th, Ryan Sieg 10th. The last 2 playoff spots as of right now being filled up by Christian Eckes for Colleague Racing, and how about Jeb Burton for Jordan Anderson Racing, still sitting 12th in front of his brother Harrison Burton, who's only 2 points behind him. Carson Kvapil's had a lot of speed this season, but lacking in the race finishing side of things. Another problem last week with a flat tire late at Las Vegas resulted in another poor run. He's only had 1 top 10 through the first 5 races of the season. So that is an update on the point standings in your Xfinity Series field. Now we'll take a look at the starting lineup to see where everybody will begin in this 300-mile race. On the front row and starting on the pole today will be Taylor Gray for Joe Gibbs Racing in the 54 car alongside Phenom Connor Zilich outside of the front row for Junior Motorsports. Nick Sanchez, Justin Allgaier making up row number 2. Allgaier one of the 5 winners so far this season, and as I mentioned moments ago, the current points leader. In row number 3 will be Christian Eckes, Sam Mayer. Justin Bonsignor will be driving the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing on a part-time effort today, his first start of 2025. And Ryan Sieg to his outside. In row 5 will be Sheldon Creed and Matt DiBenedetto. Matty D with a pretty good qualifying effort for that lower-funded program. Josh Williams and Harrison Burton will be in row number 6. Josh Williams battling pneumonia, might get subbed out in the early going of this race for Ty Dillon, just like he did a week ago, so that'll be a developing story here in Stage 1. Williams, Sawallich, Carson Quapple will make up row number 7. Sammy Smith, Blaine Perkins, 2 Chevys in row 8. Kyle Larson, who might be the overall favorite for the race win today, will be inside of row number 9. I know he's my pick, and he seems to be the chat's pick in the poll that is open right now in the early going as well. Parker Retzlaff also in that row alongside Larson. In row number 10 will be Brennan Poole and Jesse Love. Love starting deep in the field, along with RCR teammate Austin Hill behind him in row number 11. Hill's got Jeremy Clements to his outside. Jeb Burt with Dean Thompson in row 12. Row 13 for Anthony Alfredo and Brad Perez. Kyle Sieg, Ryan Ellis in row 14. Row 15, Myatt Snyder, former Homestead winner, and Daniel Dye. In row 16 will be Corey Heim, who had a heartbreaking loss in the truck race last night, finishing 3rd, had engine issues in the final 10 laps on multiple occasions that dropped him out of the lead en route to Larson winning. Patrick Emmerling will also be starting alongside Heim in row 16. Row 17 for Leland Honeyman and Mason Maggio. Row 18, Joey Gase, Chris Wright. And rounding out the field in row 19, 38 cars here today, Garrett Smithley, Brandon Jones will make up the rear of the field. Brandon Jones starting deep. He is coming in off a top 10 last week at Las Vegas, one of his better runs of the season. Poor start to the year for Jones, but a step in the right direction a week ago. Comes to another 1.5 miles with JGR again here today. Despite starting at the back, I think he's going to have some pretty decent speed. Ty, William Wiley, Sean Doubleday, thanks for tuning in. Yep, Larson is in the race, starting 17th. I tried to put that in the chat. I'm not sure if you saw that comment, if you're still here or not, but appreciate you tuning in one way or another. Ty pulling for, I would assume that's an Austin Hill vote. 69% of you think that Kyle Larson is going to win. I figured instead of putting 4 names in the poll here today or 3 names in other, I would limit it down to 2. Kyle Larson or somebody other than Kyle Larson winning this race, and that'll be your guys' vote in the chat. Larson, obviously my pick. I took him to win the truck race last night. He got it done. Starting mid-pack in this race versus starting up towards the front of the field in the truck race yesterday, it's going to be an interesting watch. Justin Bonsignor, new dad, first start of the season for Joe Gibbs Racing. It's going to be interesting to watch. Seeing a lot of drivers in that 19 car. Almirola already getting that car to victory lane. And I think that's a real precedent to be set for Justin Bonsignor. I don't have the expectations of him necessarily finishing top 5. But if he's able to do that, we know that that's what that equipment is capable of. Knowing that Eric Almirola in 3 starts this year has the 19 car in the top 5 all 3 times. I think we could see him impress today, to say the least. Stephen Lee, thanks for tuning in. Wade, Ethan Chua, welcome to the stream. Catalina God, thanks for tuning in. Maybe it's Gad. Appreciate you watching. New Jersey Shore. Interesting location. Must be a Truex fan. He's from New Jersey. Maybe not. Geographically speaking, that would make sense, though. Yeah, Larson for the win. I don't know what his odds were. I have no clue. I would imagine it were probably minus. Well, he started 17th, so maybe not. But I know for the truck race yesterday, he was clear in a way the favorite going in, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, he was my favorite. Ended up getting the job done. 1-for-1 in the trucks this year. I don't know if he'll be making another truck start or not by the end of the season. That might have been it. I know Kyle Busch is scheduled to make a couple more starts yet this year. I think he will be running all 5. And he's 1-for-1 so far this season. Once again, 45 laps in the first 2 stages. Jerry Marty, thanks for tuning in. No, Harrison and Jeb are not brothers. Did I say, I might have said that in the startup standings. No, they're not brothers. Both their dads are brothers. Yeah, no, they're cousins. I might have said that they were brothers. I apologize if I did say that. I know they're not. That just slipped up on me. Thanks for the correction, though. It happens. Right up the road from Truex. There you go. It's a good guess. Lights are out on the pace car, and they'll be going green this time by. Taylor Gray, inside line of row 1 for the restart, is the control car, or initial start, I should say specifically. So he is the pole sitter. Inside line was far dominant, especially in row 1 through the truck race yesterday. We'll see how it'll fire off in day number 2 of racing here at Homestead. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in the Hard Rock Bet 300. Ray well clear into the first turn. Nick Sanchez inside of row 2 nearly clears the rookie Connor Zilic, but Zilic slips to the outside as Gray slides the rear tires a little bit through the center of the corner. And as he goes up the racetrack, he's now 3 wide middle on the back straightaway. And in danger of losing a couple spots after failing to make the pass for second. Justin Allgaier got to his outside. Christian Eckes in the 16 to the bottom. Zilic cleared for second. Allgaier in third, right behind him with a big run on the outside. Pushes his teammate down the front straightaway. Well, lap 1 will be led by the pole sitter Gray. Sanchez still going backwards in the 48 car as he tries to get momentum in the right direction yet again. Already falls to the 8th place position after the opening lap despite qualifying third. Allgaier to the outside of Zilic off turn 2. He's going to have a great chance to get by him through 3 and 4. Doesn't go to the wall this time on entry. Kind of rides up closer to it through the middle and exit. Get the run off the progressive banking. Should be able to power past Zilic and does. Sam Mayer also to the outside of Connor Zilic on the front stretch. And Kyle Larson, after starting 17, trying to break his way to the front of the field, making 3 wide passes on Harrison Burton. 99 car right around him as well. Matt DiBenedetto. Larson's up to 9th. 8 positions gained in just the first 3 laps of the race for Kyle Larson. Looking to get by Ryan Sieg in the 39. Rather, that is the 00 machine. Sheldon Creed had the wrong Ford. Early pit stop for Carson Kvapil.
Pit road doing a pass-through penalty for a restart or initial start violation.
Okay, there you heard it on the broadcast quickly from Jamie McMurray. A restart lane violation for Carson Kvapil. Outside of row 7, started 14th. I don't know about that. That seems like a ticky-tack call. He wasn't trying to advance his position on the outside. It just looked like they stacked up in front of him, and to avoid the car in front of him and not run right into the back of him, he just kind of moved to the outside. More problems for Carson Kvapil. At least this one's early in the race. He's got plenty of time to try to come back, but if we get a long enough run here in stage 1, he might not be able to have the free pass by the end of the stage if we see more lap cars, which we should. Even if we get 20 laps into this run, I think we'll start to see some of the back markers fall off the lead lap. Battle for the lead on lap 6. As Taylor Gray leads the first 5 laps complete at the start-finish line. Turns 1 and 2 right now is where Justin Allgaier is trying to make the pass. Sam Mayer within a second of the lead in third. Allgaier down to the bottom of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. As he gets up off the exit of the corner, he will not be able to stay side by side with Gray. And he'll have to try again, probably in 1 and 2 the next lap. We'll see what lane he tries in 3 and 4. He's not going to go all the way to the bottom, but he runs a lane off the wall, or at least off of where the 54 is running, who isn't exactly close to the wall, but on the outside. Gray leads that lap at the line, but here comes Allgaier with a head of steam on the front stretch. And now he'll be able to pull well clear into the middle of turns 1 and 2. Textbook pass by the veteran and defending series champion Justin Allgaier. And we have our first lead change of the race. Did not take long at all. Taylor Gray doesn't seem like he's going to have enough speed to try to cross him over. Gray looking to the middle line of the racetrack. Justin Allgaier slightly defensive, a lane off the wall. Should be able to start setting sail on the 54 car, I would imagine, with the speed he had to catch him. Allgaier dominated last weekend at Las Vegas, got the win. Another mile and a half, a lower grip racetrack. Tire management is huge, and it's where we see the veteran drivers really put on a show and start to stretch these longer leads out at tracks like this. One of the few no contest wins we've really had so far this season. Taylor Gray taking the lead right back away from Allgaier. He hasn't cleared him yet, but he did beat him back to the start-finish line. You would think Justin Allgaier would have just caught, passed, and pulled away. Not the case, I guess. Taylor's got to be careful not to use up too much of his tires, though, in trying to make this pass. Allgaier might not be pushing as hard as he was that time where he had caught the 54. Now Justin goes all the way up near the wall. And not a lane off of it through 3 and 4. Like he did the lap before and allowed for Gray to get to his inside. So Taylor got the lap led, and then Justin Allgaier ends up leading by a few car lengths the next time by when they got to the start-finish line. Larson up 13 positions to 4th place. He's 1.7 seconds off the race lead. At last lap, he ran a 35.182, which was 0.2 quicker than that of race leader Justin Allgaier, who now has a half a second lead over Taylor Gray. So your top 10 at lap 11. Justin Allgaier leads, Taylor Gray second, Sam Mayer third, Kyle Larson fourth, Connor Zilic is fifth, sixth is Sheldon Creed, seventh for Christian Eckes, Ryan Sieg eighth, Nick Sanchez ninth, Justin Bonsignor rounds out the top 10. Very early in this one. The chat poll, by the way, that's open for who you think is going to win, Larson or somebody other than Larson in the field today, will close at the end of stage 2, per usual. Right now, Larson leading that poll at 60% to 40%, 25 votes so far. Many more than that watching, so be sure to cast your vote for who you think will win, and also hit the like button on the stream so we can try to get to our goal of 50 for this race today at 17 here in the early laps. Just 8 minutes into this race from the drop of the green flag to where we are. Connor Zilic going to get passed again, this time by the 00 of Sheldon Creed. Creed makes the pass, ripping around the outside for 5th. Sam Mayer, meanwhile, another Ford at Haas, trying to make a pass inside the top 5 as he goes for 2nd on Taylor Gray. Got to his inside on the front straightaway, completes the pass by a couple car lengths through the middle of 1 and 2. Gray starting to fall off, and here comes Larson now for 3rd. Larson ripping the wall through 1 and 2 on that area of the racetrack. And he'll probably have a good chance to get by Gray on the next lap, I would assume. Maybe even this lap. He gets to the inside, down on the white line. Gray a lane off the wall. Larson not going to be able to clear. No, he does. Oh, wow. Power move by Kyle Larson, as he still rockets to the front of the field. Even making that pass on the bottom of the track through 3 and 4, he was still a 10th quicker than Allgaier the last lap, who has the clean air and is leading the race. Immediately after clearing Gray for 3rd, Larson goes right back up to the wall yet again. No surprise there. Now he goes to get some clean air back down to the white line on the bottom of the track through 3 and 4, while both Mayer and Allgaier rip the wall on the outside on that end of the speedway. Trying something different. I mean, he ran a faster lap than the leaders that last time by doing that. Why not try it again? Nine-tenth of a second lead for Allgaier over Mayer. And then 1.6 seconds back to Kyle Larson in third. 2.2 seconds off the lead is Taylor Gray in fourth, who had just gotten passed by Larson a couple laps ago. Biggest movers of the race, Brandon Jones, after starting dead last in 38th, is up 23 spots to 15th. And caution is out on the speedway here for the first time as the lights are on. Not sure what the yellow is for here. Lap 16. Oh, there it is. 16 car, Christian Eckes. That looks like an engine detonation to me.
It's a plus. It looks like it's like a transmission issue, but that's a lot of smoke. And it's coming from the front. Get her all out.
Oh, and there's the caution. And you know what? That's a break for fellow rookie Carson Quappo.
Oh, yeah, for
He
sure.
had to make the pit stop. He didn't go a lap down.
Oh, wow.
He would have been in jeopardy with the pace of losing a lap before this run ended at the end of the stage, and now he can cycle around and put himself back in the game.
And to your point, the leaders were about a quarter straightaway behind him, so they were going to be there fast on Trev's and Carson Quappo.
We'll find you a pit, burn a set of tires. Most will not, but some could play the game to get points. We'll follow up there when we return. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Miami.
Well, if you take tires and you're in the top half of the field right now, but not in the lead, I guarantee you're going to get to the front of the field with plenty of time to still win stage one, considering that we are going to be about halfway through the first stage by the time we get this restart in. First yellow of the day. Had one caution in the truck race in stage one yesterday. Only a couple for incident throughout the course of the entire race, 3 of them to be exact. But here in this Xfinity race, our first one comes on lap 16, and it's the 16 car of Christian Eckes blowing an engine. He started inside the top 10, actually started 5th, faded to the back half of the top 10 after that initial start, settled in right around 8th or 9th, and unfortunately, this issue seems to be terminal. I believe Eckes' afternoon will be done prematurely. Carson Quappo was in dead last car of the lead lap after having the pass-through penalty for the start violation. Jumped out of the outside line of cars before getting to the start-finish line was the reason for that penalty. Already 3 lead changes at the front of the field. A little back and forth for a lap or two between Allgaier and Gray battling for the lead. 7 laps led in total for Gray, 11 for Allgaier. Dime Drawer, thanks for tuning in. Dale Jr., the Boomer Saluter, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. I don't know where my phone's at. I need to get the chat up on my phone so I can stop leaving the live leaderboard camera. I was having to do that earlier today, so then I got in the habit of doing that for the stream. Ruben Topple, also welcome to the stream. I think Larson has the advantage at Homestead, his best track. Yeah, it's crazy that he tends to dominate in laps led here often, no matter what kind of car he's in. Xfinity, he's ran here several times, Cup Series, but he only has 1 Cup win at the racetrack in 2022. It took him a long time to finally break through to victory lane at this place. And last couple of years, hasn't won since. Led a bunch of laps in 2023 despite not getting the win. 199, and then he hit the barrels at the front of pit road on the entrance during green flag action when he was trying to beat Blaney into the pits in that race. Had a shot to win, if not a top 2 locked in. That problem didn't arise.
25 won this race for Richard Childress Racing a few years ago. Only win in his career. If you were going to win one race, I know Daytona probably top of the list, but this would be a track that would be very rewarding. And with the caution out, 91 going to come down and get a little service here. They were running 33rd.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to put tires on. They're just making an adjustment right there, raising the back of the car up, it looks like.
That team had a top 15 finish earlier this year with Josh Balicki behind the wheel. Pretty big adjustment there.
A lot of rounds in that left rear.
Nick Sanchez qualified 3rd, the rookie from Miami, is currently in the 9th position. And now we take a look at Nick's race fit health report, brought to you by Tree. What jumps out here, guys?
Well, I like the running. I think that's good. I've never seen anyone say their diet is red meat. I'm like, I like him. I'd be friends with
But wait a minute, if you're an athlete and you admit that your diet is tiramisu and cheesecake,
I think it means he's doing some serious strength exercises to burn those calories. Also, Cuban coffee.
I want to try that. I've never had it.
Caffeine content.
Yeah, I think we should all try that next week. That is not a Cuban coffee.
This is what I referenced earlier when you had done the interview with him. But this is his place, right? And we talked about him in the pre-race before we went green. But he's from Miami, and this track is where it all began racing go-karts.
How amazing though, like to be a kid, not golf racing, and to get to go to the track, and then he's on the track racing. So
His uncle gave his dad tickets to a truck race here a number of years
probably
ago.
never had him now.
And he's in NASCAR. All guy are leading under caution middle stage in this opening step.
So nobody comes down to burn a set of tires here. I believe each of these teams have 5 sets. So no pit stops in the middle of stage 1 with the caution. It'd almost be an automatic stage win if somebody wanted to come down here under the yellow while pit road's still open before the restart. But yeah, definitely don't think that that's going to happen. So your top few rows, we'll have Justin Allgaier or Sam Mayer up at the front, probably on the front row. Maybe Mayer takes inside of row 2. Knowing how strong the inside lane is on the restarts compared to outside, especially in that first row. Kyle Larson, Taylor Gray, 3rd and 4th just behind them, and then Sheldon Creed, Connor Zilich around row 3. Ryan Sieg, Austin Hill also in the top 8. 21 laps in, we'll take our first break. You're listening live on KRC to the Xfinity Series Hard Rock Bet 300 at Homestead. $26 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 50. I don't know if we got to our goal during the qualifying stream. It was slightly abbreviated with the technical issues at the start. Let me check real quick. We definitely got there for the truck race last night. We went 4 for 4 last week, so that was kind of my fault. I broke my streak already in the weekend if we did not get it for Cup practice and qualifying. No, we're at 43. We're 7 shy. 7 shy on that one. If you watched that stream earlier and didn't hit the like button, you should go back and like it and then come right back real quick while we're under caution. Maybe we can get to the goal well after the fact.
On it together, this unlikely duo uses their skills to catch criminals. Catch an all-new episode of the hit series Wild Cards, Wednesday, 8/7 Central. It's right here on the CW. Halfway home, Stage 1, Homestead-Miami Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Justin Allgaier leading. Mayer, Larson, Gray, and Creed, the top 5. Brandon Jones, an early mover, Kim.
Yeah, up to the 15th position after starting last. And what we do need to know, we talked about him not being able to make qualifying laps because of the oil leak in practice. What that did give him, despite starting last, was a slight tire advantage. He used that. I talked to him before he got in the car. He said, I want to be at least up 10 spots in the first few laps. Well, he got that more. Again, up 23 spots. Right now, Brandon just saying, tighten the corner, Dylan. He has no stability when he gets back in the throttle.
And Cam, another big mover we've already documented, Kyle Larson from 15th to 3rd. I asked his crew chief, Adam Wall, how do you rein him in all day? How do you keep the right side on? And he said, it's hard to because the real speed is the Larson line right up against the wall. It also saves tires up there, so you don't want to move around too much. I think the good news is Kyle did it pretty efficiently. He had to run the bottom a little bit, but they were pretty smooth on the racetrack. Kyle didn't have too much to say about the race car other than he's pretty happy with it.
Yeah, he looks good.
They've got the track position. Now Larson can go to work.
Dylan talking about Larson. They're talking about him on 7 radio as well.
The 17 at the start there. Did you run the fence taking off or when they weren't? He was making time on the bottom of 3 and 4. You know, right, like coming for them. She's got time for the head. He'll make on a short run and then far on. So,
Hey, whatever you got to convince yourself of. In that
Right.
situation.
Well, I would tell Justin, don't chase the 17.
Yeah.
Like you got the dash for cash, the 100,000. Race the guy on your outside right now. Let the 17 go try to beat himself if he gets into the wall. Justin hasn't, his strength hasn't been right against the fence. Don't get knocked into it. Take yourself out of this dash for cash race.
All 4 of our Dash for Cash drivers find themselves inside the top 15 here, including the 2 on the front row. Allgaier has led 15 laps. He's on the inside as we return to the green flag. To his right is Sam Mayer. Row 2.
All right, getting set for the restart. Mayer outside of the first row. We'll see how he launches. Can he do any better than what we've seen so far through the entirety of the truck race in the early going of the Xfinity race? Green flag back in the air? No, that is not the case. Easy win on the restart for Allgaier. Larson will get the second, and Zilich is going to get the third. 3 wide now. Mayer's got 2 cars underneath him as they battle for 4th into turn 1. Larson almost pulls to the inside of Allgaier on that restart. Cleared for second place, still off of turn 2. Gaggle of cars 4 wide towards the back of the field off turn 2 and down the back straightaway. They'll funnel down to a couple rows of 3 wide. And Larson goes for the lead in 3 and 4, bottom of the racetrack. He was running the bottom well on that end of the racetrack earlier when making passes. This time he might lose a spot to Sam Mayer, who was charging hard on the top lane. Mayer looking to slide clear. Not going to have the ability to do so. Larson got back to his outside through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Just enough room for Larson to be able to sneak on by. Getting side drafted a bit by the 41, who still hangs on that left rear. Before sailing it off down to the white line, he overdrove the corner. He clipped the white line on the bottom of the racetrack. And immediately when he did that, the 41 shoved up the hill. Larson through the center of the corner had a great cut to pull to the inside of the 7 of Allgaier after Mayer had overshot the entrance. And Larson will slide up clear now into turns 1 and 2 with a pass of his own right for the lead. 4th lead change of the race. Sam Mayer was able to get by the 7 of Allgaier for second place as well. Allgaier going to try to cross him over for second in 3 and 4. Larson leads and goes straight to the outside lane of the racetrack. Allgaier unable to pull back alongside Mayer through the center of 3 and 4 that time. First lap led of the race for Larson after starting in 17th. Quickest car on the racetrack, obviously, that last lap as well, 34.961. Fastest lap of the early going of the race, I believe, is for Sam Mayer with a 33.771 in the second place position. Our 4 Dash for Cash competitors for the Xfinity Series today are Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, and Jesse Love, as there will be a $100,000 bonus at stake for whoever is the best finisher of those 4. The qualifications for that began last weekend at Vegas, taking the top 4 finishers of the drivers that are racing in the Xfinity Series for points is what determined that. And that will reset for this week as well. For the top 4 of Xfinity Series drivers going for points. So if Larson were to win, it would be, say, 2nd through 5th. Larson in the middle of that top 5. Obviously, it wouldn't include him, but that will reset the Dash for Cash for next week as well. We'll do this for 3 consecutive weeks. Looks like actually Justin Bonsignor has the fastest lap of the race. And not Sam Mayer in second. 33.679 for the 19 of Bonsignor. He is currently in the 17th place position in the middle of the pack. He started inside the top 10. And that fastest lap of the race, I'd imagine, was in the early caution. Right front tire looks to be down. Right rear looks pretty low also. Might have been after the slide. Tough start to the season for Chris Wright. He's been involved in several incidences towards the back of that field in the number 5 car and having a spin in the early going on this slippery racetrack at Homestead today as well. Keeping it at a slow speed with those right side tires going down. Doesn't want to tear up any fenders on his way back to pit road. And because he was on the front straightaway, just trying to get back up to speed, it's a long haul around this 1.5-mile track to get back into the pit lane. Trying to avoid any major damage. Showing a replay. Wright was up on the outside all by himself and just lost it. Spun down the racetrack and then he flat spotted both right side tires amidst the slide as he came back across the banking onto the apron. Now we might see some pit stops upcoming or even later in stage 1. Will somebody take the gamble, hit pit road now, try to go out there, get some stage points, maybe even win the stage, knowing that the field has about, green flag lap-wise, just over 20 green flag laps on their tires? We shall wait and see. Billy Kramer, Lee Hammond, by the way, also then, thanks for tuning in. No commentary on the CW? That's weird. Yeah, this is more of a radio-style broadcast, considering I have to describe everything that's going on and try to paint the picture for you guys because there is no visual picture for you to watch the race. So whenever I get kind of compared to, sound like people from MRN or PRN or something of that nature, that's what I'm going for. So glad that you guys think highly of it. Craven Moorhead, I have no idea who that is. Is that a local short track racer around your area? Yeah, he's not in the field today. I don't even know why I was looking like I was going to see that name on here. Definitely don't remember seeing that name on the entry list this week. I think he's talking about NASCAR's YouTube channel and not this YouTube channel specifically in the chat. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream also. It's kind of a weird start time for this race for me personally today. My Michigan Wolverines play at 5:15 for their March Madness game, so I'll be score tracking that here when that starts to begin in about another 35 minutes or so. It's kind of a good start time in the sense that, yeah, I'm going to miss the start of the game, but by the time the race ends, I'll catch most of the second half, so I'm not going to miss the entire game. I fell asleep before the game came on the other night. I missed the entire thing. I was just too tired to stay up that late. It wasn't starting until after 10 p.m. Alrighty. Who's in the 35? Off the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure. Riley Herbst in the Cup Series, but Joey Gase in the 35 car today, currently 29th. All right, lights are out on the pace car. They're going to be going green this time. Kyle Larson will be inside of row 1 as the control car. Nobody hit pit road that we know of. So all saving their sets of tires, 2 early cautions in this race. Sam Mayer is going to be on the outside of row 1. Justin Allgaier inside of row 2. Now on both the initial start and that last restart, both cars on the inside lane, row 1, row 2, had gotten clear of the outside row 1 car, getting up to speed into turns 1 and 2. We'll see if that will happen again, especially with the 2 veterans in this race down there at this run. There we go. Green flag. We'll have 12 laps to go in stage 1 this time. Sam Mayer spins the tires on the outside of row 1, struggles to get going. Connor Zilich also spinning the rear tires just behind him. Fails to take off. 17-7 are clear for first and second. The 0-0 pulls to the inside of Mayer for third. They're door-to-door now off the exit of turn 2. Allgaier hanging on the back bumper of the 17 of Larson. Maybe touched him a little bit. Larson got a bit loose down the back straightaway like he had gotten clipped. Looked like more than a side draft. Maybe a little too aggressive from Justin Allgaier, but he is going to get to the inside, and they're door-to-door for the lead. At the start-finish line, Allgaier by 7 1/1000ths of a second will lead that lap, so we have another lead change. Larson having the outside line through the middle of turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he'll clear. He's outside of the 7, but he's not outside near the wall. He ran more of the middle groove of the racetrack that time. He's still clear on corner exit. Sam Mayer in third, trying to close the gap on the top 2 in front of him. You got to imagine for the outside lane on that last restart for Mayer and Zilich spinning their tires as much as they did that time, it's only going to get worse and worse the older the tires are launching through the restart zone, rather than when everybody's on fresh Goodyears. Zilich, after spinning his tires, restarted 4th, fell to 6th. And Mayer only lost the 1 spot from 2nd back to 3rd. In turns 1 and 2, it seems like Justin Allgaier is not as good on the bottom there as he is in 3 and 4. And that also seemed to be the case for Kyle Larson when he was making his way through the field after starting back in 17th. Allgaier, a lane off the bottom, doesn't go all the way to the inside through 3 and 4 that last time by. Larson carries more momentum off the high side, and same for Sam Mayer from 3rd place, who's actually closer to the back of the 7 entering turn 1 than the 7 is to the 17 in front of him. Austin Hill on the restart gets to 4th, so 3 of the 4 Dash for Cash competitors now 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Kyle Sieg and the 28 car up to 5th, so I guess he might have taken fresh tires during that last caution. It would have been during the commercial break, because they didn't show any pit stops on the actual broadcast itself. Oh, Justin Bonsignore going to go around as he slides. He was 3 wide bottom in turns 3 and 4, saved it. Everybody escapes to the outside, and we have our 3rd caution of stage 1. 8 laps to go in the stage, so we will get another restart in here. But the yellow flag is out. Siega got into 4th by Austin Hill right before the yellow. Leland Honeyman, also on fresh tires, is up into the top 10 in 7th. And Bonsignore, after dropping backwards from the start of the race, has the fastest lap, but unfortunately for himself, goes for a spin. Saved it. There's no damage on the race car. He was 3 wide bottom of Taylor Gray and Harrison Burton. He actually clipped Gray just a bit. Gray maybe clipped the left rear of Burton. Great car control by both Gray and Burton and not wreck as well. Very minimal contact from the 19 to the 54. It almost wiped out 2 JGR Toyotas in one incident. He powered so much faster than those 2 cars to his outside. It just looked like he carried too much speed on entry and lost getting into the corner. And when you enter on the inside line, especially at Homestead with how straight both straightaways are on the racetrack and you're entering 3 wide bottom, it's a lot more awkward of an angle getting in than what it would be at, say, like a Vegas on the front stretch with the way the front straightaway is curved. You kind of make that dive and drive it in deeper without the car slipping out from underneath you like you would here at Homestead, and that seemed to have bit the driver of the number 19. So Larson still in the lead at the time of caution. Justin Allgaier's in second. Sam Mayer third. Kyle Sieg fourth. Austin Hill fifth. That is your top 5. 7 to go right now. I would imagine pit road is going to open, if not this time by, the following time by. We're probably going to restart with 3 or 4 laps left in stage 1. So we'll have a few laps. Yeah, the broadcast is going to be ahead of what the stream is. YouTube's going to be a good 30 seconds behind. On my stream versus what you guys would be viewing television-wise. All right, more cars are pitting here. Ryan Sieg on to pit road. Harrison Burton, Carson Kvapil, a couple others.
Qualifying it now in the race with that save. And I'm sure those tires will be driving to the front, and a few other takers here. This is going to be a wild restart. 39 is in Ryan Sieg, Dylan.
Yeah, he qualified inside the top 10 and started further forward than he has the last couple of weeks. They battled a free condition all weekend. It's more of the same here this afternoon. Said he's just too free everywhere. He'll change 4 tires and add fuel. You see Harrison Burton as well on the right side of the screen there. He was reporting that he was just a little bit too snug in the 25 car.
Here's the one thought. Do you pit here? Now just ease around in the back and try to take care of yourself. Or do you say, run to the front and get stage?
So I'm glad you brought it up because I believe that is the option you have. You have the option to sort of take it easy. You know you're going to get a gob of track position when everyone else pits under the stage. You then take as best care of those tires as you can. I've never felt like that works very well this place just because of how abrasive it is. But if you only have a couple laps, you don't think you're going to get stage points out of it, just ride around and take care of them. The more I sit next to Adam Parker, the more I think with his knowledge, he should have been a driver.
Oh, yeah.
Good chief.
I'll just read the promo, okay?
All right.
Baddest brand in sports entertainment is with best female division.
Alrighty. Mute that now. Kyle Larson still leads, obviously. Kyle Sieg, fresher tires. He's in 4th already. If I were him, I'd restart inside of row 3. Because if he's on the outside, that's going to kill his chances of trying to win this stage. I want to see where he's at in the point standings. Oh, he's pretty far back. Kyle Sieg is 27th in points entering this race. Hasn't finished in the top 10 yet this year. He's actually led 6 laps. Could lead more. We'll have 4 laps to go in the restart. And no, he takes outside of row 2. See, I don't know why he did that. Because the outside lane is not fired off well. And Sam Mayer on older tires than him in front of him is really going to hold him up. And while you can say, yes, he has 4 laps, remember also that Leland Honeyman in 7th, who is on the inside row 4, also has fresher tires than the rest of the field. Same tires, or at least the laps on them, as that of Kyle Sieg. Other drivers also have fresh tires outside the top 10, but they're going to be way deeper in the field. Take a look here. Ryan Sieg, who just hit pit road. Carson Kvapil, yeah, they're 29th on back. So 29th on back have 4 fresh Goodyears, but I don't think 4 laps is enough time for them to get through that many cars. I do think they can get up into the top 10, but I don't think that they're going to be able to get to the very front of the field. All right, well, Larson will be the control car. Pace car will head to pit road. Allgaier inside row 2 again, just like we had on the last restart with the 17-7 on the bottom and then the 41 first car on the outside. Green flag back in the air. Larson launches late in the zone. Better restart for Sam Mayer than the last time, but still can't keep up with the 17 or the 7. He's getting pushed by the 28, and yep, 28 gets log jammed in line, and actually it's Leland Honeyman in the 70 who's going to get the 3rd, up 4 positions in the first half of the first corner. Honeyman clear for 3rd off turn 2. as he moves to the high side, and now he gets a bump draft down the front straightaway. Leland Honeyman going to go for the stage win here at Homestead. Can he compete with the 7 of Allgaier and the 17 of Kyle Larson? He's got to go quickly. Kyle Sieg is starting to run him down again. Side by side for the lead between 7 and 17. Larson led that lap at the line. Nowhere to go for Honeyman. He's boxed in. Justin Allgaier on the inside of the racetrack. Honeyman rounds around the white line even further. Kyle Sieg just behind the 70, also on the bottom. Sieg to the inside of Honeyman for 4th. On the outside, Sam Mayer will get alongside Justin Allgaier after Allgaier could not take the lead away from Larson off turn 2. Slide job incoming for Justin Allgaier. Almost got in the back of the 17 car. Couldn't clear the 41 up high. 2 laps to go for Larson in the stage. He gets pushed by Mayer on the front straightaway. Kyle Sieg on the bottom lane of the racetrack looking for the lead in turns 1 and 2. Sam Mayer pulls off of the wall line. He's in the middle. Kyle Sieg off turn 2 is going to be clear. Larson with momentum off the high side is getting slowed up a bit by the side draft from Sam Mayer underneath him. Sammy Smith in the 8th car, who just hit pit road, has even fresher tires than that of Kyle Sieg. Goes up the middle, crams his way into the 41 of Mayer. Mayer did a great job to keep his car from spinning out. Sammy Smith from outside the top 30 on the restart is up to 2nd on the final lap of the stage. He's about 2 car lengths behind Kyle Sieg down the back straightaway. Sammy Smith with the dive bomb into turns 3 and 4. He's clear. As he slides up, can Kyle Sieg get the crossover? On the exit of the corner. Sieg's not going to get there. Last lap pass for the stage win. Sammy Smith steals it. What a call to hit pit road. In 4 laps, he does go from about 30th to 1st. Unbelievable. That goes to show how much fresh tires matter here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Sammy Smith. Only lap led of the race was the final lap of stage 1. After restarting outside the top 30, it's amazing how quickly he got through the field compared to anybody else on those fresh tires. Because nobody else got inside the top 10 of those that just pitted during that last caution. The next closest would be Harrison Burton in 11th. Then Quapple in 12th also pitted. But they didn't even get into the top 10. So Sammy Smith, out of nowhere, going to win stage 1 here today at Homestead-Miami Speedway. He came in 5th in the regular season point standings, 44 back of his teammate Justin Allgaier for 1st. It is the first stage win of the year for Sammy Smith. He only led 14 laps through the first 5 races of the season leading up to the stage win here at Homestead today. Danny Brett Whitesides, thanks for tuning in. I haven't shouted you guys out yet. Larson trying to take some more candy from babies. Yes, he is. So your top 10 receiving stage points in stage 1 here. You got Sammy Smith 1st, Kyle Sieg 2nd, Ryan Sieg 3rd, Kyle Larson 4th, then Justin Allgaier in 5th, Sam Mayer in 6th, Leland Honeyman in 7th, Sheldon Creed 8th, Jesse Love 9th, Austin Hill 10th. And I would imagine Sammy Smith and those that pitted during the last caution are going to stay out. Though they're going to be at a disadvantage even with only 4 laps on their tires. That's how much tires matter here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. You're going to see a 4-lap difference here. These drivers that will pit during this caution are going to fire off better. And there isn't many that did pit. There was only about 5 cars that came down. Thought Kyle Sieg was going to win a stage. He still gets 9 points for finishing 2nd. He came into this race 2nd in the standings. Ty Dillon standby for Josh Williams could have done better. Yeah, Josh Williams qualified in the top dozen, surprisingly. He is battling pneumonia. I mentioned that in our brief pre-race that he could get subbed out for Ty Dillon this weekend. That was the case last weekend. He had to fill in for him as well. Josh has been under the weather for several weeks now. Wish him well and a speedy recovery. I believe he is still in the car as of right now. Toughing it out in the 18th place position. His teammate Christian Eckes had an engine expire already. Eckes is the only driver out of the race. 38th for him. Justin Bonsignor was last of those on the track at the end of the last stage, so I think after he had spun out, I don't think he came onto pit road and burned a set of tires. So he still has all of his sets left. Sammy Smith started the day in the 15th place position. I don't really know that he was even running in the top 10. So that is definitely stealing a stage win, if I've ever seen it before.
Stage was amazing. Let's go down to Progressive Pit Road. Here's Kim.
And you see that line of cars making their way down pit road. Top box, that's Sam Mayer in that white and lime green car. Despite having a good run at that stage, he said, "This is hard. I've never had the top be so bad. Felt like the right front got killed after that close call. Balance a little loose, struggling to pass and staying with the leaders on the restarts is his biggest complaint. Will take more fresh Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuels like everybody are feeling."
Justin Allgaier in the middle of the screen was a little bit free on corner exit, otherwise felt pretty good, but then got clear after those couple of cautions, making air pressure adjustment to tighten him up. Kyle Larson said he was tight mostly off of turn 4, expected that to be the tires going away. Don't expect any major changes on the 17 as the race off pit road heads towards us here. Sammy Smith, you see him pitted. Just want to mention, if they're playing here, take those tires off that they just put on, those new tires, and then keep them for scuffs later. So they got the track position. They're in a little bit of a tire disadvantage, but they've got the track position and a little bit something to work with.
Yeah, scuffs are not going to be as good as stickers. I mean, they never are. But he does win the race off pit road. He gets track position. He's on equal tires, at least for the restart, compared to anybody else. Got a playoff point, 10 regular season points. I think all in all, it might be a good call for Sammy. He was running outside the top 10 before that, so he basically stole 10 points there that he wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Although Sammy Smith pitted, it looks like Harrison Burton, Carson Kvapil, Blaine Perkins, Parker Retzlaff, and Justin Bonsignor all stayed out. So maybe Bonsignor did take tires. Sammy Smith, who won the race off pit road, looks like he'll restart in 6th. Silent Owl Scribe, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it is surprising that Kyle Busch's pit crew tends to fail him a lot, because Austin Hill's pit crew in the Xfinity Series, week in and week out, is probably the best pit crew in the Xfinity Series. And I would imagine that they're pitting the same cars in Cup, right? RCR and RCR? Or are they using Hendrick Motorsports? I don't think they are. I would think JRM is using Hendrick pit crews. Seems like if it's not the pit crew, it's Busch speeding on pit road or doing something like it's something pit road related, whether it's the driver one week or the team the next. For Busch's issues. We'll take our second break in the live commentary stream. You're listening live to the Homestead-Miami Speedway NASCAR Xfinity race, the Hard Rock Bet 300. Where we're at here in the early going of this one, we might end up getting to the most viewed Xfinity Series race of the season. Daytona is going to be tough to beat, but I think we're on the way to getting there as we're only at the end of stage 1. Bit of a slow race pace. This is already our 4th caution with the stage yellow at lap 45. We had 3 cautions for incident in stage 1. Then that 4-lap dash on the sprint to get to the end of the stage where Sammy Smith was able to win stage 1 on the tire strategy. Kyle Larson has led the most laps in this race, I do believe. No, Justin Allgaier has still led the most. 20 laps led for Allgaier, 16 for Larson, 3 for Sammy Smith there at the end of the stage under the caution. Kyle Sieg led for 1 lap before losing the lead to Sammy Smith. Taylor Gray, who started on the pole, led for 7. He battled back and forth for the lead with Allgaier initially, so we have already seen 11 lead changes today. And this 11th one is Harrison Burton, who is going to restart in the lead at the front of the field. Again, the top 5 cars stayed out of the pits because they had pitted during the last caution in the last stage. They'll have 4 laps on their tires, which will make a big difference. Not to mention that outside of Carson Kvapil, I don't really know that these other guys up at the front of the field have top 10 speed. Justin Bonsignore qualified there, and I think he still has the fastest lap of the race, but he also faded pretty quickly on that first run as well. But the combination of the 4-lap older tires and the equipment that we see at the front of the field outside of Kvapil, equipment-wise, I don't know what kind of speed Kvapil really has in comparison to some of the other front runners in this race. He's been quick, hasn't had great finishes this year, but he's been fast. And I still don't even know you can gauge how fast he is if he falls through the field on this restart, having the 4-lap older tires. They'll even out after so many green flag laps, but that initial, 4 to 8 lap stint is where he's really going to lose time here. If he can survive that and settle inside the top 5, top 10, then he should be fine to the next caution or the end of the stage, whatever ends up happening from there. Does Larson have the fastest lap? No, Justin Bonsignore does, 33.679 on lap 2. 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. All right, getting ready for the restart here for stage 2. It's going to get nuts. They're not even going to get the launch through the restart zone that the guys behind them are going to get. Honestly, even though Kyle Sieg got into the lead, considering he got passed on the last corner, the last lap in the stage, if he had not restarted behind Sam Mayer and would have gotten a better launch on the inside lane rather than the outside, I think he would have still won that stage. Because by the time he got to the lead, it took him much longer, and Sammy Smith was already right there behind him. Got into second place right as Sieg was taking the lead. Problems for Justin Allgaier, penalty on pit road, driving through too many pit stalls. Get the limit of 3, and he must have drove through more than 3. 1, 2, 3. And then obviously the 4th would be his box. Yeah, I mean, that was blatant right there. I mean, that wasn't even a tough call. Misjudgment there for Justin Allgaier, so now he's going to be at the back of the field. Again, he's led the most laps in this race. We'll get to see how fast the 7 car is coming from the back. I mean, Larson was able to do it in the truck race last night and win. I think that 7 car is definitely one of the top 2 or 3 cars in the field today. Luckily enough for him, it is still stage 2. And we still have well over half the race remaining for him to get back up in contention. As he catches up to the back of the field here, we'll get to the restart. So Harrison Burton, Carson Kvapil, row 1. Row 2 will be Blaine Perkins, Parker Retzlaff. Row 3, Sammy Smith, Justin Bonsignore. Pace car on pit road. Harrison Burton, the control car on the inside line. Carson Kvapil on the outside of row 1. Green flag is back in the air. Stage 2 underway in the Hard Rock Bet 300. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes Sammy Smith, trying to take quick work of the top 4 cars in front of him as he's got the fresh tires. Blows past the first 2. Gets himself into 3rd place up off the exit of the corner. Kyle Larson also sneaks to the inside of the JRM8 car. 4 wide nearly off the exit of turn 2. Now down to 3 wide, middle of the back straightaway. 2 of Jesse Love powers past the 8, getting into turn 3. Clears him. Gets to the outside of Larson. Twapple will lead his first lap of the race at the line. But the fresh tires are going to overtake him to the bottom. Battle for the lead now is between Jesse Love, Kyle Larson, and Sam Mayer. Mayer right in the picture behind the two on the outside while Larson was pinned down on the bottom through the first corner. Jesse Love is cleared down the back straightaway and still cleared to the bottom of the track in turn 3. Sam Mayer on the outside of the racetrack going to try to carry some momentum on the front stretch. Jesse Love leads his first lap of the race. 13 lead changes now. And a plethora of different leaders. Fastest lap that last time by in the race overall for Jesse Love. 33.67. Sam Mayer ran the second quickest lap of the race right there behind him. In that second place position. Couple tenths off the lead of Love. Who's going to manage their tires better? We haven't had a long run yet in the race with the amount of cautions we saw in stage 1. So tire management hasn't been as big so far. Well, we finally see that for the first time. That is where the veteran experience for Kyle Larson can kind of take shape here like it did in the Truck Series last night. Jesse Love's doing a great job on the bottom. He hasn't gone to the outside of the racetrack once since taking the lead. He's running the white line, bottom of the racetrack, both ends of the racetrack. And that was very similar to what Austin Hill did in the fall race here last season. And he dominated and won despite not running the wall like we thought that most people would have had to do. So setup-wise, Jesse Love with the clean air might have the car to be able to do something like that and actually manage the lead at the front of the field while still managing his tires. Gaggle of cars 2 and 3 wide in front of Justin Allgaier with nowhere to go as he's already up to about 22nd. Underneath the 26 car of Corey Heim. Right in the middle of the corner. Another car to the outside of both of them. 3 wide into 3 on the inside for the 7. So 31 just restarted up in the top 4. Perkins. Pass for the lead, front of the field now. Slingshot move for Sam Mayer. Must have had a great run off turn 4 from the outside. Beat Jesse Love down to the bottom of the racetrack. And after sliding clear, Love will stay down to the bottom of the racetrack again into 3 and 4. Definitely looks like he's sliding around a lot more than the 41. The 41's going to have a lot of more momentum from the progressive banking on the outside as well. 18 degrees of banking on the bottom of the track up near the wall, 20 degrees. And that's why you see the outside lane get so much more momentum on corner exit than the bottom. You wouldn't think 2 degrees is a lot, but it is. Between that and then the not as sharp of an angle, I guess, getting up off the corner as well. Really drive down that hill from the banking on the top lane of the racetrack next to the wall. More side force up there as well. Kind of keeps the car planted to the ground a bit more than what it would be down on the bottom. Still 3 wide back around Corey Heim in the middle of the pack. And Justin Allgaier still has not gotten through that either. He's been right behind the 26 every step of the way. Kyle Larson to second as he pins the 2 car down on the bottom of the racetrack. Doesn't go to the wall near 1 and 2. Tries to get clean air on the nose with Sam Mayer up there already. Went to the middle. He's still door to door with Jesse Love for that second place position into turn 3. Be on lap 62 this time by at the start finish line. Lap 17 of 45 in stage 2. Larson clear on the front stretch now for second. And he's only a half a second off of Mayer for the lead. That last lap, Larson ran a 35.032 to Mayer's 35.223. So Larson is the quickest car in the racetrack, just more than 5 laps into this green flag run. Great fire-off speed in the short run for Jesse Love. Now we'll have to wait and see how far back he's going to fall if he starts to lose these top 2. Larson still on the outside lane of the track. Doesn't go a lane off the wall yet. As he gets closer to the back of the 41, it's going to be harder and harder to run that same line near the wall because of the amount of force with the dirty air kind of pushing the car up the racetrack more and more and more. Could cause an issue even for the veteran Kyle Larson. Panning back camera-wise to Justin Allgaier again, who is still in 18th although has gained about 18 positions from the restart, so he's cut the field in half already. Connor Zilic side by side with Sammy Smith, his teammate. That battle is for 5th. A 4-lap fresher tires here for Zilic, but Sammy Smith's done a great job at least settling into where he's at. In 6th now after getting passed by the 88 car. Still better than what he was running before the pit strategy to take the 4 tires and win the first stage. So track positions worked out here, it seems like, in the middle of stage 2. And it also worked out in the sense that he got 10 stage points and a playoff point to go along with it. Base Tugboat 2675, thanks for tuning in. Austin Hill's got his teammate Jesse Love, battle for 3rd. Hill to the bottom of the racetrack. Love going to have to run the middle line through turns 1 and 2. Love tries to get the cut back down to the bottom of the track to cross his teammate over. And they'll be side by side down the back straightaway now. The 21 is on the outside and the 2 is on the bottom. Which is probably where the 2 wants to be, because he's been running the inside on that white line every lap since the restart. Will he be able to clear Austin Hill off the exit of the corner? He does. And now Hill's going to have to try to cross him over again into 1 and 2. Doesn't go to the inside, though. He's going to try to beat the 2 car to the top yet again. Runs more of the middle line on entry, then sails it off wide in the center of the corner. Door to door, nose to nose, down the back straightaway for 3rd again. Meanwhile, camera-wise, split screen, in fact, back to the front of the field. Kyle Larson continues to creep in on Dash for Cash competitor and race leader Sam Mayer. Halfway through stage 2, this time by at the start-finish line, as Sam Mayer is out in front of the field. Kyle Larson riding up against the wall. Mayer through the middle line of turns 1 and 2. It's going to give Larson a little bit more straightaway speed down the back. Austin Hill finally clear of Jesse Love off turn 2 as well. Gets the momentum needed. He's about 2 to 3 car lengths ahead into turn 3 for that 3rd place position. The interval between the top 5 positions midway through stage 2, Mayer leads by a half a second over Larson in 2nd, but it's a 3.7 second gap back to Austin Hill in 3rd, 4 seconds to Jesse Love in 4th, and Connor Zilic 4.6 seconds back in 5th. So pretty tightly are 3rd through 5th, but a big separation of almost 4 seconds between the 2nd and 3rd place cars, as it seems like Mayer and Larson are head and shoulders ahead of the rest of the field right now. Outside of Allgaier, if Allgaier can get that track position back, because he was just as quick in stage 1. Allgaier's gained 4 more spots since we last saw him. He is now 14th, 22 spots gained since the restart. He's 12.9 seconds off the lead. But again, we are guaranteed that caution at the end of stage 2, which would be lap 90, just before the halfway mark of the race. Commercial break on the CW. It'll be a side-by-side, kind of a NASCAR nonstop commercial break, if you will. We'll go through the full field running order for the first time today, with that being so. 20 laps to go in stage 1. Again, a 0.3 of a second lead for Sam Mayer over Kyle Larson. Austin Hill is in 3rd, Jesse Love 4th, and Connor Zilic is 5th. 6th place for Sheldon Creed, Sammy Smith 7th, Nick Sanchez in 8th, Taylor Gray 9th, Justin Bonsignor is in 10th. Carson Kvapil 11th, Brandon Jones 12th, Harrison Burt 13th, Justin Allgaier 14th, and Kyle Sieg 15th. Parker Retzlaff is 16th, 17th for Matt DiBenedetto, Daniel Dye 18th, Josh Williams 19th, Brennan Poole in 20th. Dean Thompson 21st, Anthony Alfredo 22nd, Jeb Burt 23rd, Jeremy Clements 24th, and Blaine Perkins 25th. 26th, Ryan Ellis, Ryan Sieg 27th, Leland Honeyman 28th, William Sawalich 29th, and 30th for Brad Perez. Patrick Emerling 31st, Mason Maggio 32nd, Joey Gase 36th, and Corey Hyman, the 24 car, just pulled off the racetrack 13 laps ago. He's in the garage area. The team is under the hood. He is 13 laps down, and then Christian Eck is out of the race with a mechanical issue. Looked like he blew an engine 54 laps ago. He'll finish last in 38th for Colleague Racing. That is your full field running order rundown here, middle of stage 2. You're listening live on KRC to the Hard Rock Bet 300 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Who do I say the 10 to 12 competitive cars in Xfinity are? So if we're going by way of equipment, you would have the 4 JRM Chevys, the 4 JGR Chevys, and then the other 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 would probably be the 2 Haas cars and then the 2 RCR cars. Those would be the 12. And then equipment-wise, everybody else is kind of B tier, I feel like. The Sanchez 48. Obviously, I'm not including Larson in the 17 today because that 17 car doesn't run every week. It's a part-time car. The full-time cars, those would be the 12. Because colleague racing is not what they once were. I don't even think they were when AJ was behind the wheel last year. It took him so long into the season before he finally won. And he just didn't have the speed that he did in the couple years prior to that when he was running Xfinity full-time and was competing for championships. I mean, we've even kind of seen that out of Christian Eckes early in the season as well. I would say that they kind of fall under that B-tier team right now. The 25 car of Harrison Burton's up in 13th B-tier. Ryan Sieg usually is hovering around a playoff spot every year. Those are kind of those teams on the cusp just behind the A-tier teams, in my opinion.
With Parker Glicker and Jamie McMurray, I'm Adam Alexander. Homestead-Miami Speedway playing host to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. You're watching it courtesy of CW Sports. 15 laps, could be about 15 laps to go in stage 2. Lap traffic could be a factor. Sam Mayer leading, but Kyle Larson is there.
And that affected Sam Mayer right there. Chris Wright, on the top side, you got to be super precise when you're on the top side, and traffic makes that very tough. And Kyle Larson was able to gain a gob of time there just with 3 and 4 on Sam Mayer because of that traffic.
Well, you could see that Larson saw that, committed to the bottom kind of early. It was almost like Sam thought he could get a run through the middle, but got tied in the wake of Chris Wright, who just was really slow through that corner. So you see Kyle now committing to the bottom. It's just like when you run the top, you run the bottom for like 2 laps. And then once you slide the car, like we saw Austin Hill earlier, you got to go back to the top. But this lap traffic's going to play a huge role in this. And if you're the 41, maybe your balance of your car isn't as good on the bottom. I can assure you, though, as he pulls down in front of the 17, that's not what the 17 wanted.
And that should be the last time Sam Mayer tries to follow someone on the top, because each time he does it, Kyle Larson gets a huge run. So he's got to try and balance getting too close to those lap cars in front and not allowing Larson to be so fast in the bottom.
Yeah, and the one thing that's hard is those guys aren't running the top. They're running like kind of the middle to the top, which eliminates that. But Sam does a nice job of sliding up in front of those guys. You see right here, though, this guy, Sheldon Creed, he's committed to the top 2, Parker.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the best on the
right. Look at that.
And he will stay committed to it. I've raced against him doing that and seeing what he can do on the wall, and he's just really impressive. We talk about Kyle Larson being really good at that. Sam Mayer's good at it, but Sheldon Creed is definitely up there in the top 3 of the best riding the wall in the Xfinity Series.
I mean, how about the Haas factory team? 2 in the top 3. And as we reference our bumper, a lot of green in the top 10. Justin Allgaier had the penalty, restarts outside the top 25. He is now into the top 10. If he gets 3 or 4 more spots, and maybe he puts himself in position with a good pit stop to be right back in the game for the final stage. Kim, what's the latest on Corey Heim?
Yeah, myriad of issues for Corey Hines today. Earlier in practice, according to right front, hadn't been able to get the balance right, just way too tight. And now it's power issues. Corey reported that the power was cutting in and out. First of all, he said the voltage was high, and the engine stayed back out. Then he was sputtering on the apron, dropped back down the hole, and decided to go behind the wall. And this is very serious. He also had power issues with a completely different team in his truck race last night. So maybe needs to lose Lady Luck or Lady Bad Luck for the next weekend.
Needed for him, one of the most talented young drivers in the sport right now. Scored 37th, and obviously off track as we saw him there in the garage.
And that's really devastating for Sam Hunt Racing. They get the opportunity of Corey Heim and those race cars. It's a massive opportunity for that race team to have good runs and to have issues like that. It's just so devastating.
Let's do our Toyota driver update with this guy, Justin Bonson, your 4-time modified champion, making only his 3rd career start. Crazy in qualifying, he saves it. Had to spin early in the race, he saves it. He's been all over the place in the running order, but the fact that he's knocking on the door of the top 10 speaks to his talent level.
Well, top 10, but he's also on 10-lap older tires, and that's huge at this track. As you see earlier in the race, trying to stay off Taylor Gray, ends up spinning out, had to get off strategy, but I'm really impressed, not just that he's running at 12th position, but he's doing it on those older tires. Parker, I feel like once he gets to be on good little tires for everybody else, it's going to be really good.
Taking quick notes. right? Learning. Like he said, he wanted the experience. He wanted to learn each and every lap, and he's doing just that. And to be on those tires and holding position the way he is, that is really impressive. Shows how quickly he's doing.
How about the fact that Leland Honeyman in the 70 is going to go flat down? They played the strategy game, had a good finish in the stage, but now they find themselves one lap in the rears, 10 to go, stage 2, and Larson hanging so close
He's
with
dogging
Huntsman
him,
and
Adam.
Sam Mayer.
This
He is dogging him.
It's an absolutely awesome battle between these two. You know, a lot of people probably looked at this race and thought it'd be a cakewalk for Kyle Larson. They're side by side down to turn 3.
They were saying that last night.
Forcing Sam Mayer in the middle. We'll see if he tries to clear the 45. No, he actually has to stop it in the center and try to get it turned.
Oh, he got a little bit loose. The 41 got a little bit loose right in the middle. Larson looked like his car was underneath him. He now finally clears him on the exit of turn 4. Now Larson might play a little bit defensive right here. So see Sam Mayer's going to try to turn that just a little bit. Shocked that Larson didn't run in there a little harder on the top like we've seen him in the past, but we see another lap car in
That's
front of those
Sawalich.
guys.
William Sawalich in jeopardy of going a lap down. He scored 28 that went around Brad Perez. The next one they'll see is the 18, the rookie from Joe Gibbs Racing. Meanwhile, right of your screen, they're racing for a spot. That's 6 between Love and Sanchez.
And Nick Sanchez has actually been turning some really fast lap times. Some of the top 5 fastest lap times as he's gone through the top 10 here, knocking on the door, possibly the top 5. He's been flying, but wow, this battle at the front is not over.
Sawalich goes a lap down. That's our Toyota onboard camera. Now with 8 to go on the stage, he just says, don't go for anyone else a lap down. I can get the free pass here.
Yeah, and the thing that's so interesting to me about this race for the lead is that I thought once Kyle got to the lead that maybe he would just drive away, but they're not. I mean, these cars are super comparable. The 17 was able to get through lap traffic just a little bit better, but the 41 car, you look how close he is right there to the wall, chasing Kyle, trying to do everything he can to keep up with him. 41's super competitive and every bit as good as the 17, I think.
The big difference was that Sam Mayer, when he had the lead, was kind of controlling the top side there. He followed Kyle on the top side next to the wall. Now he's going to have to move around. So he was the bottom, now slides up to the tank, tries to keep it. It's almost a diamond. I think you'll do there in turns 1 and 2 at times, trying to get a different run. And that's what Larson was doing. Is he was running different lanes than Sam Mayer as he was trying to get by him. And now Sam's going to have to do the same, which is try and find racetrack that Larson isn't on.
Well, and you're almost a little bit of a disadvantage being in second because you have the option to watch the leader and the lanes he chooses with the lap traffic, and you can do the opposite. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. But if you do the opposite and you can generate that run, the corners seem so long here inside the car. Once it starts sliding and you're trying to hang on to it, it takes forever to catch up to it.
6 to go, stage 2. Here's Kim.
And maybe possible trouble for most recent winner here. Here's the guy in the front position, Austin Hill. Take a look at what he told his team on the radio.
Uh-oh.
So the team is ready on the wall. They're hoping to make it the next 6 laps to the end of the stage. This was interesting, though, because I asked Austin specifically about his tires last race because they came with the same car, the same setup as what he won here. He said last race, every tire they took off the car looked absolutely great, which is interesting because we know he used the bottleneck and eat up the tires way fast from here at Homestead. But we'll take a look at him once they come up with the car at the end of this stage.
And what's truly interesting about that game is that he just turned the fastest lap of anyone on the racetrack.
How about
I don't know if it's really falling up that hard.
I'll say this, though. If you go back to last week, they had the loose wheel. I mean, different type of issue, right, than what we're maybe experiencing here. But he had the loose wheel, had to make the unscheduled pit stop. But everything worked out. And the way that race cycled at the end, it opened the door for him to get a top 5 finish. If the caution had come out, no way they finished there. And that's what puts him in position for the dash for cash. Kim Dudger with 6 to go, now 4 to go. He's just got to hang on to the end of the stage.
And from inside the car, he's maybe feeling a little bit of a vibration. And there probably is some massive tire wear. We saw it last night in the truck race. But we talked to Sheldon Creed's crew chief earlier today, and he was like, after I saw the truck race, I was worried about tire wear. They didn't see any of that, though, in practice earlier today. So maybe he's just feeling a little bit of vibration. It's one of those things, you're almost a little paranoid at tracks like this. Like, how much tire wear do you have?
Look at the biggest movers in our bumper since the restart. Bottom right. Allgaier plus 27. Creed, we've talked about plus 12. And Taylor Gray qualified on the pole first time in his career. It hasn't gone great for him today, but he's been up since the restart. And now issues for the 39 Ryan Sieg making an unscheduled stop. Dylan?
Sounds like they may have blown up. I was listening to Tim Fiedel on the radio, and he said think we're blowing up, and then they go to pit road here, and Ryan was crawling to a stop. So it sounds like maybe a terminal issue on the 39.
It's interesting to have two engine issues in this race where this isn't necessarily a track that's
Three.
super hard on engines because you run fast at the beginning, but then the pace slows down so much.
I'll go back to this though. That they got.
I think it was the tire.
Look
right?
at that.
Yeah, the tire was blowing out.
There you go.
So sometimes a spotter sees a car going slow and thinks, why are they going slow? And so that's what he says there, but maybe Ryan didn't even say anything, just hit pit road. The team was ready to change the tires. You saw he had a tire issue. Speaking of tire.
Third straight week that they've had an issue, right? I mean, you go back, they had to go to the backup in Phoenix last week, the transmission problems. They soldier through both of those circumstances, the tire issue today with just a couple of laps to go in stage 2, and now 1 remaining. Kyle Larson is leading. Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Connor Zilic, the top 5. Sanchez is 6th. Love is 7th. Our stage 1 winner, Sammy Smith, is 8th. Allgaier and Jones, the top 10.
Yeah, Kyle Larson been really good around the bottom in all this lap traffic. He's been able to just kind of roll, disciplined on entry, not overdriving the entry, gets that left front right on the white line, just not sliding the car at all. It's been. I mean, man, the last 4 or 5 laps has been great for traffic, better than anyone else.
I think he really took care of those tires early, like you mentioned.
I don't think Kyle Larson's good.
How low he's exiting right there.
I don't think it's good around the bottom, good around the top. He's just flat good. Kyle Larson wins stage 2. It's his 16th career stage win, and he's now won a stage in 9 of his last 15 starts. He'll be in control most likely when we hit the final stage. Larson gets it done in front of Mayer, Creed, Hill, and Zilic. Allgaier got back.
About a 2.9 second margin of victory in stage 2 for Kyle Larson over Sam Mayer in 2nd. His teammate Sheldon Creed in 3rd. Austin Hill fell to 4th. Connor Zilic 5th. Nick Sanchez 6th at the end of stage 2. 7th for Jesse Love. Justin Allgaier got to 8th after restarting at the rear of the field following the pit road penalty for driving through too many pit boxes. Sammy Smith was 9th, and Brandon Jones rounds out the top 10 after he has started in the last place position. Obviously, first stage win of the year for Kyle Larson in the Xfinity Series, as this is his first Xfinity race of 2025. 27 laps led for Larson, most in the race today. 22 for Sam Mayer earlier in this stage. 20 for Justin Allgaier, and everybody else who has led at all in the races led for single-digit lap amounts. 15 lead changes. Stage 2 went caution-free, and we ended up finishing things out at lap 90 for our next yellow, obviously where we're at right now, which is the end of stage 2. 110 laps in the final stage. They will have to pit for fuel and tires at some point in time during the course of stage 2. Pit stops will be coming up shortly. We'll take a quick break in the meantime. You're listening live to the Hard Rock Bet 300 at Homestead. We did get to our goal of 50 likes on the stream. We are at 54 right now. But if you haven't hit the like button yet, be sure to do so. Helps the stream out a ton. We have as many people watching here. I think we can double our like goal and get to 100 during the course of this stream. So let's see if we can get to 100 likes here today. Everybody wanting to watch Kyle Larson, I would assume. Try to see if he can go 2 for 2 to start the weekend. He was my pick for the truck race yesterday. He's my pick for the Xfinity race today. We'll see. I'll be at a 50% win rate in the Xfinity series with my win predictions if Larson gets the dub. 3 for 6, I'll take that. I had 11 last year, which I thought was a lot. It's a lot easier to predict the truck in the Xfinity series because there aren't as many competitive cars as Cup. I think last year in Cup I had 7. And since we started the channel, most I had in the Cup season was 9. I haven't had any yet this year, though. 0 for 5. Lost one, thanks for tuning in. Put other in the poll, but somehow NASCAR will get Larson to the checkers. Yeah, I mean, the voting poll today was Larson or the field. 69% to 31% taking Kyle Larson. He is your stage 2 winner. He's led the most laps up to this point. 120 votes casted in our chat poll. That's quite a few. Appreciate that. Probably the most on the Xfinity Series polls so far this year. But only 61 likes on the stream, though, so be sure to hit the like button. And twice as many votes in the poll. And we've got pit stops.
Slap run to the finish. Progressive pit road is open, Kim.
And Sheldon Creed service already started. You see him at the top there in that red and white machine. Big adjustment there. He said he feels like he's better that front, but just too tight on it. Had to slow down too much to get it to turn. His teammate in the middle, Sam Mayer there, he said I kept the right front for all the cars, but does not think he needed anything. No changes for Sam Mayer, Dylan.
Race leader Kyle Larson fairly happy with his race car. He said it felt split with the front end when I was running up top. Pretty good around the bottom. They're practicing a building tight on this last long run. They stuck a wrench in the back window to make a chassis adjustment to help Larson free up.
Larson wins the race off pit road with his 4-tire stop. Austin Hill up 2. No surprise, that pit crew is awesome every week. Jesse Love for RCR also up 2 spots to 5th. Sheldon Creed, kind of a slower stop for him. 15.7 seconds, loses 3 spots, falls from 3rd, where he was at the end of stage 2, to 6th. Just give Larson W and go out and get my Chick-fil-A early. It's funny. It's kind of how I felt about the truck race at Las Vegas with the multiple rain delays. I was just hoping they were going to call it after that second one just because I had to work the next morning. I didn't end up getting to bed after that stream until about 12:45 and had to get up at 4:45. That was tough. Not to mention, I came home from work at noon and ended up streaming at 1:30 in the afternoon for Cup practice and qualifying, then the Xfinity race right after. So I had the 4 hours of sleep. It wasn't like I could just get off of work and sleep right away. We had 2 streams to get in after the fact. I ate and then went straight to bed as soon as that Xfinity race was done last weekend. I'm all caught up now, though. I didn't work any OT this weekend, so if I didn't catch up on my sleep during the week, I've caught up by now. All right, so Kyle Larson, Austin Hill, front row for the restart. Sam Mayer, Connor Zilich, looking like they're going to be around row 2. Sam Mayer is definitely impressed in this race today. The Haas cars with SHR branding in the Xfinity Series, they've been very good on these low-grip racetracks. Riley Herbst dominating at Las Vegas a couple years ago. Cole Custer had some good runs there. So maybe not a surprise that Sam Mayer is leading here. Mayer has won at Homestead in JRM equipment before, too, so you add that into the mix. Definitely wouldn't have maybe looked at Sam Mayer as being somebody who could have taken down Kyle Larson today, but that seems to be his strongest competitor since the penalty to Justin Allgaier. Allgaier finished 8th at the end of the last stage, and he will restart in 8th as well, as he didn't gain or lose any spots during the 4-tire stop. So most of the chat taking Larson for the win over the rest of the field. That's crazy. That was 69% to 31. I was thinking it was going to be maybe closer to 50-50, but I mean, if you've watched this race, I guess you would probably be able to see. He was really setting the pace of the field there in stage 2. Allgaier and Mayer are definitely going to be the 2 closest competitors to him. Got to wait to see if Allgaier gets back up there. I'm sure he will. I don't believe that this is going to be the last restart of the race. It could be, because we're not guaranteed any more cautions. I just don't see that happening necessarily. So again, Sammy Smith won stage 1 on pit strategy. And then Kyle Larson won stage 2 here moments ago. Fastest lap of the race is Jesse Love. And our 4 Dash for Cash competitors, Austin Hill leads the way in 2nd, Sam Mayer 3rd, Jesse Love in 5th, and then Justin Allgaier in 8th. $100,000 bonus on the line between those 4 of whoever the highest finisher is between them. Larson inside row 1, of course, as that has easily been the most dominant restart lane of the race. We'll see what Austin Hill can do outside of row 1 with the fresher tires. Green flag back in the air. Larson well clear, gets a push from behind by Mayer. Mayer's going to be stuck 4 wide middle. Big restart for Jesse Love. Luckily, Connor Zilic got out of there. They were only 3 wide middle by the time they got into turn 1. Thought Zilic was going to be on the outside. I don't know if he overdrove the corner or backed out of it. And immediately got down to single file with the top 5 positions on the back straightaway. He'll fan out a little bit more into turns 3 and 4. Jesse Love did get up to 3rd, getting by his teammate Austin Hill, who restarted outside of row 1 and is now quickly back to 4th. Sam Mayer in 2nd, right behind Larson, which is where he finished back at stage number 2. We'll contact the JGR teammates of Taylor Gray and Brandon Jones, who were 3 wide. Old donut on the number of the 20 on the left side door. 4 wide on corner exit. 1 car scraping the wall and nearly clipping the back of the 8 on corner exit was Justin Bonsignor. Had a huge head of steam, didn't want to lift, and ended up nearly causing an accident. Everybody escapes on. They didn't lose too much momentum. But that would have been a very risky move had he came up off the wall a little more than he did. Could have turned the 8 car right in the middle of the back straightaway. No ill will there, obviously. Just a factor of him trying to turn off the wall, keep from getting glued onto it. Doesn't seem like he had a tire rub initially after pulling off the wall either. Haven't noticed any smoke the first couple corners since the contact for Bonsignor. Larson leads that time at the line, but Sam Mayer is underneath him off turn 4. He'll make the dive into 1 and 2, but Larson pinches him off. He doesn't go to the wall that time in the corner and kind of goes more to the middle groove of the racetrack. Sam Mayer slipped up on corner exit and Larson still clear off turn 2 again. And he'll bridge a gap down the back straightaway into turn 3. Then he goes right back to the wall, Mayer to the middle groove, and down around the bottom just behind them is Jesse Love in the 2, who fired off well in the short run earlier today on the bottom lane of the racetrack, and is still keeping up with the top 2 at least early into this green flag run to start stage 3. Officially halfway home, 100 laps down, 100 laps still to go. A lot of racing left here at Homestead-Miami Speedway this afternoon. 0.2 of a second gap back to Sam Mayer in 2nd behind the leader Kyle Larson. Jesse Love is a half a second back in 3rd. Austin Hill 2.3 seconds off the lead in 4th. Sheldon Creed in 5th, 2.6 seconds back. Justin Allgaier up 2 spots on the restart to 6th. He's 2.6 seconds off the lead as well. 3 seconds back for Nick Sanchez in 7th. Taylor Gray 3.5 back in 8th. 3.9 back for Stage 1 winner Sammy Smith in 9th. Connor Zilic in 10th is 4.3 seconds off the race lead. 24 cars on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down at the moment is Jeremy Clements, battling with William Sawalich and Ryan Sieg for that free pass position. 2 cars out of the race, Corey Heim and Christian Eckes, both with engine issues here today. 15 lead changes, 5 cautions, 3 for incident, all of which in stage 1. Just over an hour and 25 minutes into the race. And again, just past halfway. 25 laps have been spent under the yellow. And again, stage winners were Sammy Smith, Kyle Larson. Larson in stage 2, Smith stage 1. Current fastest lap of the race is still Jesse Love. Lap 98, though, he had reposted his fastest lap of the race on this last restart. 33.611 is that fastest lap time. Bonus point will be awarded at the end of the race if that holds. Larson has led the most laps and counting as he continues to lead yet again. Battle for second between Jesse Love and Sam Mayer on the racetrack. They're door-to-door across the start-finish line. Love on the bottom of the track, per usual. That's been his favorite line throughout the course of the race. And Sam Mayer up around the top. Love unable to stay alongside of him through turns 1 and 2. And about a 2-car length gap and growing with the head of steam down the back straightaway that Mayer has. Losing pace from the 17 of Larson in front of him as they battle for second with each other, but still pulling away from Austin Hill behind. Justin Allgaier just made a pass for 5th that last time through 3 and 4 on the 0-0 of Sheldon Creed. First time Allgaier's been back in the top 5 since the end of stage 1. Again, that pit stop penalty was during the stage 1 pit stops during that break, so the very first stop of the day. Been a long time coming for Allgaier to get back in the top 5, over 60 laps of action since then. But again, he's still got over half the race left. He's creeping along. He's only 3.5 seconds off the lead. We'll see how the long run car is going to hold for the 7 in comparison to those in front of him, despite having to restart just a little bit further back. Connor Zilic catching his teammate Sammy Smith for 9th. The 88 battle. Zilic started in the second place position after qualifying on the front row, though has not really been up in contention to lead many laps in the race throughout the course of this one. Allgaier lane off the wall, trying to get clean air on the nose through 3 and 4 as he closes in on Austin Hill for 4th. Oh, near wreck there in the middle, 3 and 4. That got tight. Brendan Poole and William Sawalich going at it for the free pass spot. Actually, Poole's on the lead lap at 22nd. Sawalich and Clements are the two battling for the free pass position in 25th. They're throwing slide job over slide job back there in the middle of the pack. It's getting nuts. Surprised that Sawalich is that far off the pace. He has been struggling a bit at JGR in the early going of the season. He's right around that playoff cut line, and the equipment he is in, you would think that he should easily be in. But I guess it's been a struggle for JGR for anybody not named Eric Almirola. Brandon Jones had that rough start before finally clicking away a good solid top 5, top 10 the last 2 weeks to get himself right around 10th in points. Creed loses another spot to the hands of Nick Sanchez. Hometown driver Sanchez is now up to 6th and quickly pulling away from him. Best run of the year so far for Nick if he can finish this thing off. Sanchez, obviously a rookie in the Xfinity Series this season in the 48. Running 2 seasons full-time in the Truck Series, had a couple of wins. Both of them last season. It's very good on the super speedways in the Truck Series through last year. Drafting style racetracks. And we've seen that 48 car do well with Parker Kligerman behind the wheel on the super speedways before, so as we get back to Talladega again, Daytona in the fall, maybe he can pull off an upset win and get that team into the playoffs that way. Lead is up to 1.7 seconds for Kyle Larson over Sam Mayer now. Mayer is in 2nd, Jesse Love 3rd, Austin Hill 4th, Justin Allgaier in 5th, Nick Sanchez is 6th, 7th for Sheldon Creed, Taylor Gray 8th, Connor Zilic 9th, Brandon Jones in 10th. Sammy Smith 11th, Justin Bonsignore 12th, Harrison Burton 13th, Matt DiBenedetto 14th, Daniel Dye 15th, Josh Williams 16th, Carson Quapple 17th, Parker Retzlaff 18th, Anthony Alfredo 19th, and Dean Thompson in 20th. Kyle Sieg 21st, Brendan Poole 22nd, Jeb Burton 23rd, Ryan Ellis last car in the lead lap in 24th. Ryan Sieg now up to the free pass spot in 25th. William Sawalich 26th, Jeremy Clements 27th, Blaine Perkins 2 laps down in 28th, Leland Honeyman 29th, and Brad Perez 30th. 31st, Myatt Snyder, Joey Gase 32nd, Patrick Emmerling 33rd, Mason Maggio 34th, Chris Wright 35th, Garrett Smithley 36th. 2 cars out of the race, Corey Heim 37th, and Christian Eckes 38th, both with engine failures here today. Just over an hour and a half into the race. We'll take a quick break. Side-by-side commercial break currently airing on the CW. You're listening live to the Hard Rock Bet 300 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Kyle Larson still going through lap traffic while pulling away from the cars behind him. Larson's definitely the one to beat now. I don't think Justin Allgaier's got the speed it might have looked like he had back in stage 1 while he's in traffic. You know, maybe he gets the clean air and he could compete. Being back at pit, that's going to be tough to get the clean air from where he's at without just outright getting by somebody on pit road or on a restart. Second, third might be a little easier. Back in 5th, though, it's a little bit too far back. He isn't that far out of 3rd, though. He's within a half a second of Jesse Love in 3rd. Austin Hill battles him for that spot right now. So Allgaier could be there for the taking. Under a long green flag run, I don't think he's catching the 41 or the 17, but gets past these two. Catches up during pit stops. Maybe a little bit. Seen Larson speed on pit road many times before, so I guess that's not impossible. Although we did have a pit road penalty for Allgaier as well earlier, and we've seen that several times before. Austin Hill around the outside of Jesse Love will make the pass down the back straightaway for 3rd.
Homestead-Miami, we take a look at Dick Sanchez's race fit out report brought to you by Braintree. Earlier we were talking about cheesecake, tiramisu. What's on this one here?
The Calvin Harris you're using. Yeah. He enjoys for exercise. We learned earlier about yourself that you were never listening to music. So see, that's how you're supposed to do it. Like Nick Sanchez does. Listen to music like you. Asked me to name one Calvin Harris song. I don't think I could. Yeah. You think a DJ? Okay. It's a little higher price.
Just make sure Parker doesn't sing one.
You've done that. People don't want to hear that. They just don't.
48 car doing some good things today. 6 right now for the rookie deal.
Yeah, when I spoke to him last week at Las Vegas, he mentioned how excited he was for this stretch of 1.5 mile racetracks coming up here, just because of what you can do in these Xfinity cars. He said in the trucks, which is what he's familiar with, he's raced the last couple of years, you're almost wide open, but these Xfinity cars really allow the driver to make a real difference. He was particularly excited about this one as well. He's actually raced this car for this team a few years ago, so has some experience at this racetrack in the Xfinity Series. And we also mentioned, of course, he's from Miami. He's got about 100 friends and family here scattered around the grandstand cheering him on today. So having a good run for the 48.
Doing the things that he needs to do, no question about it. Look at Allgaier. I mean, you said it going to break, just before we went to break, how strong he is. And he's just stayed in it. Didn't lose his mind when he had the penalty. And now he's driving right through there and putting himself in position.
Yeah, it's good to run as we've seen out of the 7 car at Homestead in a while. And it sticks out to me if you look at your screen there, right below Larson, I see a lot of green on the left. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. All of those guys are racing for $100,000 at the end of this race.
The other thing you might notice as we go through 3 and 4 here on Garrett Smithley's onboard is you go into the front stretch, that sun is starting to get a little lower and it's getting harder and harder to see down into turn 1, especially when the windscreen's dirty as Nick Sanchez goes by in here. Off turn 4, you start to see that sun just sort of gets on the windscreen, and that's just going to get aggressive. Sorry.
Windshield.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying. And so, finish my thought here for a second.
I'm sorry.
He's a great teammate.
I would say. I was in England all of a sudden. I was trying to figure that out. So
we watch a lot of Formula
when the sun hits the windscreen going into turn 1, it makes it even as difficult as it can be for, as you see the 17 or Garrett Smithley running the wall, because those marks that you have to hit on the entry to that corner, it's so tight. And that's just another obstacle you have to face. Not only getting into turn 1 on the track, but Parker, as they pit later this race, getting into your pit stall and seeing your sign.
Sure you wanted to use the word marks and not points on the wall?
I'm scared to talk now.
I loved your stat pre-race today, NASCAR Countdown Live, about the percentage of laps led in races that he's competed in at Miami for Kyle Larson. And that takes me to what could be the biggest headline of the weekend if he's able to pull off the sweep, all 3 series. For the truck race last night, racing Xfinity today, of course, Cup car tomorrow. So let's go back to the last time this happened. Bristol 2017, it was Kyle. The other one, Kyle Busch, the one the trucks on Friday night. Xfinity make it Thursday night, Xfinity on Friday night, and then he went out on a Saturday and took that empty the victory lane for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Cup race. Kyle Busch has done it twice at Bristol, 2010, 2017. Larson trying to do it here.
Yeah, and if you're curious at home, Kyle Busch has won a lot of races at Bristol Motor Speedway, 22 total, 8 in the Cup Series, 9 in Xfinity, 5 in truck, 1 on dirt. Even he's done it all at Bristol. That guy unbelievable at that track.
You know what gets me is it's so hard to win one NASCAR race
I
in the
know.
top 3 series. To do 3 in a weekend is just unbelievable. How different all these cars drive, especially for Kyle Larson now, how different the truck drives to the Xfinity car to the next gen car you have in the Cup Series. It's just such massive differences what you have to do inside that race car. Yet what shows here is obviously just track knowledge and ability around this racetrack excels. That's what he shows every time he's on this racetrack.
And you're watching Kyle Larson right there in the red, white, blue number 17. I think about how many races he could have won here. Like there have been so many races that he could have won that he wasn't able to. But when I saw that he was signed up for all 3, I automatically thought when you just showed about Kyle Busch doing the sweep, and I was thinking, I'm like, well, how many times has that happened? But only twice ever. So it'd be pretty cool if we see Larson do that this weekend.
And that car's been great this year, running a limited schedule, second twice. Byron and Bowman earlier this year. Today it's Larson behind the wheel. Let's do a little through the field for some of those drivers outside, maybe just inside the top 10. We start with Brandon Jones, who is scored in the 9th position right now, Kim.
Yeah, and don't forget he started last today after not making a qualifying lap due to an oil leak. The team, though, despite that issue in practice, they were happy with it in race trim. They were optimistic about their speed. They just need a little more turn headed into the race. They've made some significant adjustments. Currently still on pace. Brandon said it's big speed. He keeps it in the throttle and wants to push the front. So still looking for it to free up just a little bit for the last 77 laps here in this race, Dylan.
Oh no. Right side here.
Looks like he finally got it hard enough.
He's experienced everything so far.
He has for sure.
It like this is going to bring out a caution. He gets it to pit road.
And he was running in the top 12 when this happened. You see the fenders pushed in a little bit. You see the concrete all coming out as they're trying to get that tire off.
You said the gauge earlier is you can take the right side a little bit, but you don't want to get the tire. I think confirmation here, just a little
Or
too
tires.
aggressive. Yeah, it's right on the right side for Justin Bonsignor. Back down to Kim.
And maybe Johnson getting just a little bit too comfortable. We talked about this being a learning race. Well, he had finally got on the radio and was getting a lot of good feedback about the car. Said it was really stable. He felt like he was keeping the rear tires on it way better the last couple of runs. So, Dylan, maybe again a case of him getting too comfortable and finding the wall a little bit too close.
One of the other Joe Gibbs Racing teammates is Taylor Craig, who started on the pole. It's been a little bit of an uphill battle for them today. Taylor has not been real happy with the balance of the race car. They've worked on it. He's been loose. He's been tight. He's been kind of everything in between. So they actually weren't thrilled with it in practice either and felt like they just played a good lap down. And it's kind of been the story of their day as well. Taylor's just trying to manage, stay calm in the race car and salvage a good day. Which he's doing right now. 10th is not bad for sure for the rookie. Behind him, Sammy Smith, another pretty good story. Remember, they won the second stage after doing some pit strategy. He flipped the stage, took tires, drove to the front of the field, won that stage, and then pitted. But they did get their track position. This is the day that crew chief Philip Bell called a learning day. Sammy's not super comfortable, he admitted, running the top side here. So they just wanted to be in a good spot most of the race and learn what they can. They've done that so far, running in the 11th spot right now. Behind him is Harrison Burke, who we talked about throughout the afternoon as well. They're another one that's kind of battled some handling gremlins so far today. He's been a little bit tight. He's been loose, and the most recent report just is that he's out of the racetrack. So they're trying to get him a little bit better, but he loves this racetrack, loves racing here, was really excited to be back in the Xfinity car racing here at Homestead, and also is looking forward to Darlington, another racetrack coming up in a few weeks. That you really got to manhandle these race cars. And behind him, running in the 13th spot, is Daniel Dye, who's having one of his better runs of the year. Another Florida racer, so he likes coming to this racetrack as well. He battled free conditions all day in his race car. He told us in the offseason he shifted his focus to really getting better on the racetrack, not worrying so much about the off-season distractions. He's worked with Josh Wise, been in the gym hard. It's all paying off right now for Daniel Dye, Tim.
Teammate Josh Williams in the 14th position. Good to see him feeling a little bit better despite having pneumonia. Currently 120 laps in, the plan is for him to run all 200. He did say on the radio he was feeling much better, so much so they dismissed backup driver Ty Dillon. That last run here at stage 2, they did have some right front tire reported it being free on entry, plowing through the center, especially when trying to run the top. They did pull a right rubber last stop. So far, though, this run, Dillon seems way happier with the race car.
Saw Carson Qualfel there behind him in the one car going to the high side of the racetrack. This has been another learning day for the rookie making his first start here at Miami. I thought Andrew Overstreet, his crew chief, had an interesting comment this morning. He said, learning is hard here because the tires wear out so fast that by the time you're ready to just kind of log laps, the good is gone from the tires, and it makes it hard to understand what you've really got. So, as we said at the top of the show, they just need a finish today. They've had some really unfortunate ending results to their races despite a really fast race car. So, if they can just soldier on here and keep all 4 fenders on and finish in the top 15, I think that's a good day for the one car.
Matt DiBenedetto running in that 16th position. A solid day for them. Qualified in the top 10. And when I talked to him after qualifying, he said their fire-off speed was good. And yes, qualifying was good, but he was not happy with the long run of practice. It fell off too much, so they made some adjustments for the race. Adjusted throughout the race. Currently running again in the 16th position. And this is a solid day for Matt. He typically tells us if we get a top 20 every single weekend and build up those points and ultimately try and point our way into the playoffs. That is a good year for us. So a good day running in 16th. Matt DiBenedetto, the Spike Motorsports team.
And if he can hang there, top 20 finish in the first 6 races. Let's go back to what happened to Justin Bonsignor when he hit the wall just a moment ago.
So earlier in the race, we saw him hit the wall on the exit of turn 2 and now into turn 1 right there left side of your frame. Just oversped the entry. Maybe the right front's going down beforehand. Maybe some contact in the wall earlier than that in the lap. Loses the right front, gets in the wall, and has to come down pit road to get these out.
It's now 27, 2 laps down. Green flag pit stops coming for everybody. Larson leads.
Nearing the middle of stage 3, Kyle Larson out in front of the field, Sam Mayer in second, Austin Hill third, Justin Allgaier fourth, and Jesse Love fifth. Sixth place is Sheldon Creed. 7th is Nick Sanchez, Connor Zilich 8th, Brandon Jones 9th, and Taylor Gray rounds out the top 10. Still decent ways to go in today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We have not seen any cautions so far in Stage 3. Larson's lead is now 3.7 seconds over Sam Mayer, 8.6 seconds over Austin Hill, and 10.1 seconds over 4th place Justin Allgaier. Intervals towards the front of the field there. I would imagine a lot of these teams are probably going to try to split this final stage in half. Most of these teams still have 3 sets of tires left the rest of the way. Some have 2 for those that pitted towards the end of stage 1 a little earlier. So depending on how many cautions we get in these final 60 laps of the race, they might not end up using all of their sets. A little bit outside the fuel window with where we're at right now, so still a bit too early to hit pit road, I believe. Although Ryan Sieg, I think it was, just came down, although he is a lap down already, so a little bit different circumstance for him. Delbert Wilson, Tim Brown, also welcome to the stream. Sieg had gotten against the wall a little earlier and cut a tire, which is what dropped him off the lead lap. And now he's back down on pit road again. Changing 4 tires, topping off on fuel. While we wait for them to come back from the commercial break on CW, we'll take a break of our own. You're listening live on KRC to the Hard Rock Bet 300 at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. A lot of racing still to go here this evening. And although Kyle Larson seems to have this on lock, he's got a big lead. He doesn't have to push the issue when he does come to pit road and risk speeding or having any sort of a penalty. He's got a 4.5 second lead to work with. Got a car up against the wall getting into turn 3 there. It looked like it might have been Justin Allgaier in the 7, right as they were coming back from commercial. We're going to need a replay on that. That was live right when they were coming back from the break. And it looked like it was the 7 of Allgaier. Yeah, they're showing his car now, and I wonder if he might be coming to pit road here. He was scraping it on entry. It's usually pretty hard to get up off the wall when you get into it that early in the corner, and that was the same spot that Justin Bonsignor had scraped the wall and ended up cutting a right front tire several laps ago and had to make an unscheduled pit stop from just around the 10th place position. All tires seem to be up on Allgaier still. He lost a lot of ground to Austin Hill after that scrape. He's now more than 2.5 seconds behind him. And actually, it was getting into turn 3, not turn 1. But it was entry into the corner where he had hit. Bonsignor was turn 1 earlier when he had scraped the wall about 15, 20 laps ago. Showing the lap time for Justin Allgaier the last time, 37.273. A couple laps after scraping that wall, 0.7 of a second slower than Kyle Larson out in front of the field. Definitely some damage around the right rear of that race car. Just got to hope that the fender's not pushed in enough. The Xfinity Series, these composite bodies, don't see the tires get crunched as much. It takes a pretty hard hit, or at least a couple of them. Similar style hits there like Justin Allgaier had. So he does seem to be fine knowing that he's gone this many laps and there hasn't been any tire smoke yet. For Bonsignor, he hit the wall a little earlier in the run off turn 2. So that second hit was what did him in for the flat right front tire. Bam Hall, thanks for tuning in. Go with Larson, hope he wins today. Yeah, well, he's definitely en route to doing so. He's got a 5-second lead. The only thing that could really hurt him is a caution and a restart. He's been good on the restarts enough when he's been out in front of the field. And it looks like he's going to come to pit from... Oh, no, never mind. He was running the inside all the way through 3 and 4. So low late in the corner that I thought he was going to end up hitting pit road. He faked me out. Sammy Smith is on pit road, though.
Worn out. If you can get to the surface where no one's run, there's more grip.
Sammy Smith, scheduled green flag pit stop at cuts at lap 140, Dylan.
Yeah, that's right. This is the first domino to fall, so start to expect some other cars to come in here. This is a track position game as well for the Smith cars. You see a chassis adjustment there in the back window just to try to take advantage of these new tires and pick up a couple spots while these other cars are just struggling along here, getting to the end of their window, the start of the window. So 4 tires and fuel for Smith. He's been fairly happy with his race car here over the course of the late run.
Couple of things to point out. Everybody going to have to pit here, right? But once you make this...
Earl Arnold Jr. in the chat just reminded me I didn't get the diecast showing out at the end of stage 2. So apologize for that. I'll do that real quick here. I figured I showed a Ryan Blaney diecast off during the practice and qualifying stream for the Cup Series earlier, so I'd show another one off. This is from the 2018 season. This is the Duracell paint scheme for Ryan Blaney. This scheme specifically, he actually ran in the Daytona 500 that year, and he led the most laps in that race. Over 100 laps led. Did not get the win. Probably the best car he's ever had in the Daytona 500. He's had some good ones with Penske, especially in recent years, but that one, he was the dominant car of the day. Got caught up in an accident in the final 10 laps of the race, unfortunately, while battling for the lead. But that is the diecast showing for today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race stream.
Taylor Gray has still been struggling with the grip. Feels like the car's out of the racetrack. They'll make a track bar adjustment. You see that there, the wrench in the back window. 4 tires and fuel for the 54.
Typically, when the cycle begins, you really force that the race leader because of all the time you can make them stay off those tires. But for Larson, your advantage is over 6 seconds. So a couple of things. One, you can stay out longer in case the caution would fall. You got a little bit better tires at the end of the run if it stays green. And the other thought is here, margin for error when you come to pit road because you have such an advantage. You can make sure and really be careful.
Well, and Adam, you referenced 6.5 seconds on Sam Mayer, but it's 12 seconds on Austin Hill. So really, it's just one guy right there that he's racing. I mean, it's almost a half a lap that he has on the 3rd place car.
Here's Brandon Jones, Kim.
Yeah, and that bright yellow with an orange Toyota Brandon again. Tickets thickness is in the curve. Let's push it in the front. So a tight condition. You'll see the chassis adjustment. Looking there. Full fresh tires. Look here, full. Sam McCauley, the crew team, has been so complimentary of this crew and how well they have gotten Brandon in and out as they complete their stop here under green.
It's crazy, and this number's a little fictitious because drivers are making stops, but we're only showing like 12 guys on the lead lap. Sheldon Creed is in, Kim.
And Sheldon is reporting tight on exit. He just needs it to turn way better. You see the chassis adjustment there. That remember having to get out of the way of that other car. This team has had a couple of slow stops today, so they're looking to pick up the pace here under Freed. Dylan.
Jesse Love in the 2-car pits. He was struggling in 3 and 4 to roll speed up against the wall. They were coaching him the last few laps to try and do that. Then he was just too tight in the center. They went 2 rounds up on the track bar. Saw that just a minute ago. 4 tires and fuel, Kim.
So you see on the left side of the screen, that lime green and white 41 car of Sam Mayer just way too loose. He doesn't have anything for the 17. That's Kyle Larson. So they make a slight adjustment as they put on sticker tires and take their fuel. And the 21 of Austin Hill there on the right side said it fires off way too tight and takes too long to come in. He said the adjustments are only touching the car at the end of the run, not the beginning, and gets a little free on throttle late in the run. Dylan.
It's on the 41 of Sam Mayer pit. Larson wanted to cover, go a lap longer than the 41, who he's been racing here the last probably 50 laps or so. So you see him on pit road right now. I've not heard him say anything on the radio the last few laps as Ryan Ellis pulls out in front of him there. Larson will hit his marks. Race car has been so good. Larson was just cruising there and putting it all on display just how good he is at this racetrack. They'll go around and change 4 tires, add fuel to the 17. Justin Allgaier in as well said they were neutral to free, and then entry they were tight. So you kind of had all the spectrum covered there for Allgaier. They'll change tires and add fuel as well.
Zilich and Sanchez, the 2 drivers that are yet to make a stop in this green flag cycle. Once they do, it will circle back to Kyle Larson in the race lead. And everybody going to play a little bit of a different game here, but you can't stay out too long or you're going to end up in a real bad spot. And as I say that, here comes the 48 of Sanchez to make his scheduled green flag pit stop. It comes at lap 147, Dylan.
And the Miami native has been inside the top 10 for most of the day here. It's a good run going for Sanchez. They're going to free up his exit just because they felt like the track was going to trend in the opposite direction. So there's the adjustment there with the chassis adjustment on the right side, 4 tires and fuel for Nick Sanchez.
Connor Zilich is on his way in.
Racetrack, but the 88 get top spot, and the rookie will come down, get his service at lap 148, and that will put Kyle Larson back in the race lead. Let's follow the 88 into his stall, Dylan.
So Zilich runs long here, and he will be one of the last of the leaders to make his stop. His only reform was just that he needed more security, so they're going to make an adjustment to get him a little bit snugged up there. He's got to wait for Myatt Snyder to get by. Now and make the hard left-hand turn into his pit box. A little bit awkward angle. Go with the tear up there on the front for Zilich. 4 tires and fuel for the 88 and a chassis adjustment.
When this cycle of pit stops began, the advantage for Kyle Larson actually grew to 7.5 seconds over second place. It was more than 15 seconds in front of Austin Hill. We were kind of having that discussion as these guys were making their pit stops. So with that, they come off of turn 4, back to the start-finish line. And
51 laps to go, 4.3 second lead for Larson following the cycling of green flag pit stops. They will be able to run to the checker on fuel and tires if this race does stay green. Quite a few cars are off of the lead lap as of right now, following the green flag stops. Only 14 cars on the lead lap, and quite a few are in danger of going a lap down just a few seconds ahead of leader Kyle Larson. That would include Carson Kvapil, Harrison Burton, Daniel Dye. Connor Zilich, but he was the last car to pit road, so he's actually got a few lap fresher tires than Larson. Might be able to manage that gap a little bit better. But, yeah, Larson's putting on a show here today. He's putting on a clinic. One stage 2, he's dominated in laps led, 85 laps led. Next closest is Sam Mayer with 22 laps led in this race. But we still have, again, 50 laps to go. We're only 3/4 of the way home through this 200-lap race. So a lot still could happen. If we were to see a caution, we just haven't seen one in stage 3, which has really allowed for the long run of Larson to dominate, just like he did on that long run at the end of the truck race yesterday. Scary thing is he had long run speed in practice today for the NASCAR Cup Series as well, and I'm sure the added laps in the other series around this racetrack probably helps. Definitely doesn't hurt, but Larson had the fastest 25 and 30 lap averages in Cup practice earlier today. He also fired off with the fastest 5-lap average on the short run. So Larson, I'm just going to say right now, Larson's probably my pick to win again tomorrow. I took him last week. I would say either Larson. The extra laps added on. I think I'm taking Kyle Larson for the win in tomorrow's race. So taking him for all 3 this weekend. Looking for him to pull off the triple header sweep. I don't think I've ever predicted the winner in all 3 races in the same weekend. I've done a couple sweeps when there's been 2 races in the weekend, but not all 3. So not only Larson's trying to do it for the first time, but I'm trying to do it for the first time on the channel with these predictions. Lead still 4.2 seconds over Sam Mayer. Austin Hill 11.9 seconds back in third. Justin Allgaier is 15.2 seconds off the lead in fourth. Jesse Love is 16.3 seconds off the lead in fifth. So that is the top 5 right now with 47 laps remaining. Missing a good basketball game. I'll worry about that when the race is over. Yeah, I know my Michigan Wolverines are playing. I've got my hat on for good luck today. Hopefully they advance to the Sweet 16. Be watching the finish of that as soon as this race comes to an end. Appreciate some of the new subscribers to the channel I've seen in the chat that are saying that you're maybe first-time listeners and are just subscribing. Definitely hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel out a lot. We are on the road to 6,000 subs. Hopefully we can get to 10K by the end of the year. Looks like Connor Zilic is back down on pit road for an unscheduled pit stop. Not sure if that's because of a penalty. Loose wheel? We'll have to wait and see. Play the broadcast here for a couple laps so we can listen in on exactly why that is the case. He was running in the 11th place position.
50 laps remaining in this 200-lap affair for the
Looked like a
NASCAR
pass-through.
Series at the Hodge making his green flag pit stop. He clipped that tire, and I was curious, if the tire gets out of the stall, could there be a penalty? NASCAR said, no, there was not a penalty for that. However, they were penalized for having someone over the wall too soon. So the 88 once again going to have to pay a debt to NASCAR in the final stage of the race.
It almost looks like it was just that other car was pulling out. Those guys jumped too soon, Parker. Not this, like just the timing of the 91 of Mike Steyer pulling out his box and the 88 trying to get in.
Yep.
From these angles, it's tough to see when the crew.
That's the second junior motorsport penalty today for their rookie. Carson Quapple had the first one at the very initial start of this race for jumping out of line, coming to the green. He is still on the lead lap in 11th, but unfortunately for Zilic, now he is off the lead lap, had to take the pass-through penalty, and looking to try to find where he's at. He's currently 19th, 1 lap down. 12 cars on the lead lap. Harrison Burton, Carson Quapple, Taylor Gray, Sammy Smith are all more than 30 seconds off the lead, and if this stays green for another 10 to 15 laps, I think they'll end up falling a lap down as well. Sam Mayer's eating into the lead on Kyle Larson just a bit. Lead is down to 3.7. When they first exited pit road, it was about 4.5. A lot of that could be Sam Mayer just pushing real hard right now. Larson's still managing his tires well. Might as well go for broke, though, if you're Sam Mayer at this point when it comes to trying to push harder on the tires. You don't want to push too hard and wreck, especially not having a win for the playoff side of things, but, push hard earlier in the run. Maybe you can get to the lead while Larson's trying to save his tires. Then a caution comes out while you're already out ahead. Could be the best case scenario. And he's got a 10-second gap behind him to Austin Hill in third, so even if he does start the cliff a little earlier in the run, it's going to take a long time for Austin Hill on the back portion of this tire stint and the fuel run to the end of the race to actually catch him. One thing that was also amazing to me when everybody was hitting pit road, there were a lot of cars that had a lot of skid marks and paint scrubbed off of the right side of their cars based off the contact with the wall. Tells you everybody's up against it. I've seen a lot of black marks all the way around the wall on both ends of the racetrack. You would think it's Darlington Raceway, but it's not. It's Homestead. It's 1.5 miles. Ripping the wall all the way around the racetrack. Low grip was about 0.3 of a second quicker than Kyle Larson. And now the next lap, Larson was 0.3 of a second quicker than Sam Mayer. Wonder Mayer might have caught a lap car in a bad spot, back to 3.8. That could be a lot of the reason why he maybe was able to creep in a second on top of pushing harder. Larson might have had to come up off the wall for a couple laps to try to pass any lap cars. Go right back to it. Mayer would obviously have to do the same. Any lap car that Larson catches, Mayer will end up having to catch as well eventually. So that would definitely be the cat and mouse game. 17 lead changes. Had a couple more during the green flag pit stops. Still the 5 cautions. We haven't had a caution for incident since 8 laps to go in stage 1. All 3 yellows that we had for some sort of an incident on the racetrack were all in stage 1. And then the stage yellows at lap 45 and lap 90 were the last 2 that we've seen in this race. We only had 1 caution for incident on the 1.5 mile at Vegas last week. Stage 3 went caution free, so this would be the second week in a row stage 3 could go caution free for the Xfinity Series. Larson still kind of getting away from Mayer again, 4.1 seconds. Getting closer to building that gap out to the biggest lead of the race. We've had quite a few people in the chat for a while. Appreciate everybody tuning in throughout the course of today's stream. Our goal was 50 likes, but we can get to 100 and double our original like total. So be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We're at 78 right now. So we'll see if we can get to 100 before the end of this stream. We've got the people to do so. Appreciate you tuning in as always. Our live commentary coverage for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race at Homestead-Miami Speedway will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon. And then we will have 4 live commentary streams again next weekend when NASCAR heads to Martinsville. Truck Xfinity Cup racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Cup practice and qualifying will also be on Saturday as well. Also remember that Sam Mayer is leading the Dash for Cash. And all 4 Dash for Cash drivers are running 2nd through 5th. So you'd have Mayer, then Hill, then Allgaier, and Love. $100,000 on the line. Still a 10-second gap between Mayer and Hill for that spot and that extra $100,000. A lot of lap traffic right in front of Sam Mayer right now that he's working around. Sammy Smith, Carson Kvapil, Taylor Gray have all lost a lap here recently. 8 cars are on the lead lap here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And we still have 35 laps to go. Like you would think, oh, 8 cars on the lead lap, we probably have less than 10 to go. No, we still have 35 laps left. Larson could lap up to 6th. The pace he's running, I think he could catch Nick Sanchez, Brandon Jones, and Sheldon Creed if this stays green. And we'd only have 5 cars on the lead lap. And not a short track. Like, I've seen this at Bristol before, where we have less than 10 cars on the lead lap, but not a 1.5 mile racetrack. Maybe in ARCA. The whole race goes green. Not in the Xfinity Series. Utter domination from Kyle Larson today. Patrick Shadley, Monster Jam X10, thanks for tuning in. Glad you can catch the tail end of the stream also. 33 to go. Still got to be patient. I mean, like I said, takes 1 yellow. Talk about it every week. I don't want to beat a dead horse at this point, but longer we get into the green flag run, the less and less grip a lot of these drivers are going to have to deal with. We've seen cording of tires and flat tires because of people getting into the wall, but because the tire carcass itself hasn't caused any sort of debris yellow or tore apart any fenders on the way back into the pits, that's why we haven't seen any cautions during stage 3. But we did have several drivers pit, like Ryan Sieg and Justin Bonsignor, for cutting a tire after wall contact. Like counters up to 88. Appreciate that, everybody. Keep hitting that like button. We're getting closer to 100. We are getting very close to 100. Does my wife support me with the stream? I'm not married. No, I'm single, so clearly that is probably why I'm able to stream as much as I do. Gives me more availability. I don't have kids or anything to take care of. Funny you say that. Got 4 drivers up in the top 5 for Chevrolet, 1 Ford. Highest running Toyota is the 20 car, Brandon Jones in 7th. And he's the only Toyota on the lead lap. Talked about how much of a struggle it was for JGR in qualifying and practice earlier last week at Vegas on the Cup side, and here on the Xfinity side today, kind of struggling all the way around. Brandon Jones actually started dead last in this race to get to 7th where he's at. 6-second lead for Larson. Mayer got the lead down to about 3.4 seconds during this run, but now he's starting to fade. He's still about 9 seconds ahead of Austin Hill. Hill's 15 seconds off the lead. Half a track off the lead for the 4th place car of Justin Allgaier, which is about 19 seconds. Maybe a little more than that considering the current lap time from Larson that last time by was a 35.691. Fastest lap of the race is still Jesse Love at lap 98, which would have been the restart to begin stage 3. And that was a 33.611 lap time. So that bonus point would still go to him. Larson still another 0.2 quicker than Sam Mayer the last lap. Austin Hill in 3rd was about a 1/10 quicker than Mayer. Not as quick as Larson. Mayer's still got to manage the gap, though, in 2nd. Even if he can't catch Kyle Larson, as far back as he is, he's going to need a yellow. He needs to, at this point, start to conserve his tires. Now that he's really starting to lose time with 28 to go, you don't want to let that $100,000 dash for cash slip away, because 27 laps is still a long time to the end from now. Might have pushed a little harder earlier in the run to try to have a chance to eat into that gap on Larson. Once you start to lose time again, park it, coast, and make it to the finish. Talk about Larson maybe able to catch and pass a few other cars. That last lap, he was 0.9 of a second quicker than the 7th place car, Brandon Jones. He's gonna get up to those guys at the very least. Sheldon Creed ran a 36.2, Larson 35.5. It's just insane. That deep into the run, he's like 7/8 of a second quicker a lap. Consistently. It's not just one lap here or there. It's consistently he's that much quicker than those guys that are in the top 10. Running 6th, 7th place. Sheldon Creed's teammate, Sam Mayer's in 2nd. These are good cars that he is putting this beating on. But, that's Kyle Larson. He is the only Cup regular in this field here today. Chastain ran the truck race and also led some laps. Had a really good short run truck last night, but Larson the only Cup regular in the Xfinity field this weekend. My, oh my, oh my. We're up to 91 likes on the stream. XX Larry, thanks for tuning in. Are the yellows start of the stage incidents or yellows for stage breaks? Oh, they were the stage break yellows. At 45 and 90. Last caution for incident was 8 laps to go in stage 1, which would have been lap 37. 37, 38. 38 it would have been. So that was the last caution for incident we had. It's been a while. And we last restarted with 104 laps to go, I believe, when we began stage 3. So easily this has been the longest green flag run of the race because of how short stages 1 and 2 were to where we are right now. Well, just in case we don't get another caution, we'll take our final break right now while we still have more than 20 laps to go in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. 10.5-second lead for Kyle Larson. You're listening live on KRC. Hard Rock Bet 300 at Homestead. My goodness. 10.5 seconds. Yeah, the last time I saw anything like this would have been Riley Herbst at Vegas, not last fall, but the fall of 2023. I think he ended up winning by 15 seconds. Or he was ahead by that much at some point in the run. Maybe he didn't win by that much, but he dominated. Kind of a similar deal where last stage went caution free and he just put a beating on everybody. I don't know how many cars finished on the lead lap that day looking back on it, but I was at a Michigan Wolverines football game that day, so I didn't even stream the Xfinity race that day. So I just remember seeing a racing reference after the fact that he won, that he had a big lead and dominated the field. Maybe it was like watching the replay of the race on the highlights on YouTube or something, but yeah, he dominated. Wish the CW channel would put me in the booth. Timothy Bowles, thanks for tuning in. CW makes it hard to watch, zooming in and out. Not a factor in a race. Yeah, that's just modern day NASCAR coverage, TV coverage at least. They zoom in way too close on cars. We need more aerial shots to give the justice of how big one driver has of a run over another. Especially even if there's no battle for position, to see that with the lap cars, I feel like it would make it look a lot more difficult. Or make it look as if the drivers are at a lot more degree of difficulty than what it does when they're zoomed in right on the camera. Got another unscheduled pit stop. This one for Sammy Smith, who was in the top 10, but he was already off the lead lap. Sammy looks like he had gotten against the wall and probably cut a tire, but we are still green with now 19 laps to go.
He was running 13 and trying to get his 5th consecutive top 15 finish was the 8 Sammy Smith.
Looks like he's gonna enter right up against the wall. Is he gonna
On entry
frame right there?
again.
That's exactly what we saw. I think there was a little harder contact than to bring him to the pits. That wasn't quite probably it, right?
Yeah, that wasn't it. Well, Sammy's back out and away after changing 4 tires. Wherever he cycles out, having the 4 fresh tires, he should be able to catch a pass at least a few drivers. He's currently 21st, now 2 laps down. Ryan Ellis, Brendan Poole are on the same lap as him, so yeah, he should definitely catch those 2 guys at least. He's got 18 laps left, 4 fresh Goodyears. I do believe that is his last set of tires because he was one of the drivers that pitted towards the end of stage 1. That's why he won the first stage of the race. So in the event of a caution, Sammy Smith would have to take the wave around, but he would not be able to pit for tires again the rest of the race. He does have a spare of scuffs that only have the 4 laps on him from when he pitted earlier, but doesn't have any more stickers. Everybody else still has 2 sets of stickers that didn't pit towards the end of stage 1. We just didn't see the cautions in stage 3 in this race. Still a lot of heavy lap traffic around Kyle Larson as he grows his lead out to 12.5 seconds and still growing over Sam Mayer. Mayer in the race for the Dash for Cash is still about 8 seconds ahead of Austin Hill. Jesse Love has fallen back a spot. Sheldon Creed to 5th. Love the 4th of 4 Dash for Cash cars in 6th. Still on the lead lap for now. But not by much. Nick Sanchez and Brandon Jones are also off the lead lap. So Larson now has lapped up to 6th place. Only 6 cars on the lead lap here at Homestead. Sheldon Creed and Love are more than 30 seconds off the lead, so they could get caught here before the finish of this race. Larson ran a 35.9 that last lap. Still 15 laps to go. Couple more cars losing another lap. Justin Bonsignor, Brennan Poole off turn 2. It's crazy that Larson continues to run the outside of the racetrack. You would think, oh, he's got a 12.3 second lead. Maybe he should just take it easy, run the bottom of the racetrack. Don't want to risk, cutting a tire like we've seen several drivers do now. He's just running the wall still. It's just what he does.
The race, then you don't have to. Sam Mayer doesn't have to run the top right now.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. Now Jamie McMurray's
set the pace that 17 car's running. You got to commit to that. And there's just
Funny.
so few guys that are able to do what he can.
He just pushes the competition. And while you hate to see a big advantage,
I had no idea he was talking about that either.
able to make some of the young drivers better. And last night he won the truck race. He didn't have the best truck. He had to spin there. Comes back from that. The issues with his truck shutting off. He drives by Ian Langrick's late and goes on to get the win. Here's what I love though. Larson wins. He's humble about it. But after the race, he admitted, I didn't have the best truck. And he gave a ton of credit. Corey Heim is one of the great talents. And he also gave a huge shout out to Lane Riggs. And I would like to do the same because Lane is really turning a lot of heads in the truck series right.
It's been, Lane has. He's done an exceptional job. And you mentioned it. I mean, Heim had the best truck last night. If he doesn't have the issues with the engine shutting off, he's going to win that race. But what you have to do if you're Larson or anybody else, you just got to put yourself in that position. That if someone else has a misfortune, you're in the right place.
So this battle right here between Brandon Jones and Nick Sanchez, this is slightly important. It's for 7th, but one lap down. If whoever's the leader of this for at least the next couple laps would potentially be in the free pass position, which is wild to say, for the 7th place. So there's a lot at stake here if we were to get a caution between Nick Sanchez and Brandon Jones. If you're in Nick Sanchez's position, you want to get ahead of Brandon Jones as hard as you can. You're going to drive as hard as you can to try and get that position as if it's for the win, because if that caution comes out, it's a new lease on life.
Well, and these guys, if the caution does come out, a lot of guys will do the wave around. We only have, 10 laps to go. So a lot of guys are going to do that wave around. So if you can see on the lead out when you put the fresh tires on, you're kind of guaranteeing yourself a top 7 finishing position right now.
And if you're watching at home and you're saying, wait, there's only 10 laps left. I mean, absolutely. Road, if you have tires, you come and get them here, no matter how many laps are remaining. Sam Mayer. Well, he's starting to smell that cash. 7-second advantage over third place Austin Hill and in position to win the Dash for Cash for the 3rd time in his career.
Parker, if you put yourself in Sam Mayer's position, you want to win the race, but you've got a pretty good cushion on 3rd place, and it's $100,000 to say, do you want the caution or not? Because I'm thinking I don't know if I can beat Larson. What if I have a bad pit stop? I think I'll take the money in the bank. I think I take the money, the points, move on, and say thank you.
Shot. Right now, I think that 17 he has been great on the short run, so it could give him that chance if they were to get that caution to actually win outright. But in the position of what he's racing for, the Dash for Cash, how big that is for these race teams. And for HFT, as you mentioned, restarting from being rebranded to Haas Factory Team from Stewart Haas Racing, wanting to start with a clean slate, that's just another notch for them to go out and get the first Dash for Cash of the season.
And Adam, you mentioned it just a little bit ago. Those guys winning it, the top 4 today, they get to race for it again next week. And you just have to remember that it keeps coming around like that right for the next 4 weeks.
It's a 50% chance that your team wins next week against Charlottesville. Let's get 2 radio. Jesse Love, 6 right now.
I can just see you struggling. I'm trying to help.
That is key. You got a young driver who's determined and has been determined all weekend to make the bottom work. He's mentioned it multiple interviews this weekend. Jesse Loves that said, I want to make that bottom work. I'm even committed to it. He even tried to qualify, and he just lost the lap there to Kyle Larson now, which is wild to say that we've lapped up to 6th place, only the top 5 on the lead lap. But I think to the team's point, this is somewhere you can't be married to something. You got to be more adaptable.
Yeah, I do see the caution on our leaderboard, and that's what it's for right now. Trouble off turn 4 for Taylor Gray in the 54 car. Oh, my goodness. 16.5-second lead is gone for Kyle Larson. 5 cars were on the lead lap. Jesse Love in 6th will get the free pass. Flat right rear tire on Gray. Probably the likely cause of him losing control. And I believe Gray was still in the top 10 at the time of his spin. He was around 10th place earlier. And, yep. Caution is out. It's going to set up a restart with a couple laps to go. We will have pit stops. Larson's going to have a huge gap back to the 2nd place car, so he should easily win the race off pit road. Doesn't have to push the issue here. Can take his time. There's going to be a lot of lap cars between the leaders. So Larson should be the leader on the restart following these pit stops. There's no excuse for him to make any sort of a mistake by pushing too hard. Pit crew can take their time, make sure they get all the lug nuts on it. And it's up to Larson on the restart to hold on. Sam Mayer, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, Sheldon Creed were the only 5 cars on the lead lap behind the leader Larson. Looked like there might have even been contact with Taylor Gray causing that incident.
Yeah, there was contact from another car, but that was awful late spin.
Also,
Yeah.
the left rear when we see him go back running here, or the right rear was down. So I wonder if he blew that tire out as well, hit the
maybe
wall coming off the corner. And Harrison Burton was right behind him. So wouldn't be the first one we see today.
You know, we talk about drivers maybe doing the wave around and all that as we look at one more replay here of the Taylor Gray spin. Connor Silich, after the penalty, has been able to drive through some of these lap down cars and work his way back up to 11th. So the 88, despite the problems here again in the final stage with a miscue, could put them in the top 10 again. And Taylor Gray, you know, kind of like last week, they were in a really good position at Las Vegas, but they had the equipment issue on their final green flag stop. Then they had a loose wheel, and it took away what could have been a great afternoon, and they just didn't get the payoff with speed. Earlier today, he got his first career pole in the Xfinity Series. What about the 7, Dylan?
Well, they're another one that's rebounded from a pit penalty in stage 1. I love Jim Pullman's pep talk here just a moment ago.
I got you a whole different ball game right here, brother.
Discipline to motivation. Go get it on a restart.
And with just a couple laps to go, these teams will pump those tires up. They can add a bunch of pressure, make them fast right off the start day. You don't need to wait for those air pressures to come up. So this should be some fast laps. So you see Larson gets to pit here, and it'll be a long time before we see Sam Mayer.
Yeah, we said that's going to take the pressure off the 17, but they'll have to adjust on the 17 too, because you mentioned the short run hasn't been his strongest suit. So he and the 41 will adjust those cars. Go ahead, Kim.
Top of your screen, Austin Hill. He said, we freed it up, but it probably needs more. Still a little bit tight. Chad Haney, the crew chief, said, don't over push anything on this stop. Told the crew, we don't need a penalty. Middle box, Sam Mayer. Fire off has been good for them. Pretty equal, actually. The team has set to the 17 on fire off balance. Good. So 4 fresh tires and a splash of fuel for Sam Mayer, Dylan.
For Kyle Larson, bottom of the screen, just an air pressure adjustment. He said, I can be freer for this short run. The 41 is going to be really good. So Larson knows he's going to have to protect the backside here because Sam Mayer is going to be knocking on the door.
The race off Progressive Pit Road, and I say race in quotes because there was no race. Easy Larson with that advantage he had. Mayer comes off second. Everybody holding serve here because they were so far apart when they entered. It's Hill, Allgaier, Creed, the top 5. Love does get the free pass. He scored in 6th. He'll be able to pit 2. And then we'll figure out what everyone else does and what it will look like with inside of 5 to go for this restart. And hey, this is fun. Round 2 of the Dash for Cash is next Saturday evening. First official short track race of the year. We're in Martinsville, Virginia, the paperclip. Eric Almirola going to be back in the 19, looking to make it 3 in a row at that short track in Martinsville. NASCAR Countdown Live comes your way 4:30 Eastern Time on CW Dash for Cash, and going to be so much on the line, and it is just a fun little racetrack. So Larson has dominated this race. He has led 129 laps, and he's going to be in charge when we return to the green flag. But there's so much on the line here because those up there racing with him have got their mind on $100,000, and they would love to seal the deal, beating Kyle Larson on a restart and taking it away from him at a place like Miami where he's so good.
Do you go at the bottom behind him,
I
or
would
take the top?
Yeah, so listen, I obviously the bottom is the safer bet. I would take the top though, because if Larson spins his tires, if something happens, if someone behind Larson gives him a shove and spins his tires, I just want the clean air, and I'm fine with being on the outside on this restart if I'm going for the win.
Here's the 2, Dylan.
Yeah, this was a welcome yellow for Jesse Love. Not only did he get it back on the lead lap here so he could go for the win, he really was struggling with the race car. We heard the radio, just wasn't exactly happy on the bottom, was a little hesitant to get off the bottom. I think they're going to get him dialed in here and at least be a little better. And he'll have a shot here with 3 laps to go.
You know, you look at Jesse Love coming off the pit lane. I think about where Austin Hill is. Here's another thought process as we talk storylines late in this race. A win today for RCR would be the 100th in the history of that organization.
Yeah, and we're talking about Larson, winning the truck race last night, trying to win Xfinity and Cup over the next 2 days. He also won a sprint car race, a high limit sprint car race.
By the way.
Wednesday night, by the way, yeah. So he mentioned that. He's like, it'd be pretty cool to win in 4 different cars over, 4 different races in 1 week.
How about this? The driver leading the most laps has won only 2 of the last 6 races here in Miami. Larson trying to finish it off today, Dylan.
Well, they have been so good on the long run. We just saw that there. You got a short run here. So what's your driver got? Does he got a good restart in him here?
Yeah, I hope so. We pumped up pressures a little bit. The 41s had us on the short run, had matched our speed on the short run all day. So I think we got what we need to off here. HendrickCars.com Chevrolet's been great all day on the long run. So, yeah, I think we got it.
You've worked with him for a few years now. How impressed were you, though, with that 15-second lead that he built up there? That was awesome.
Yeah, it's super impressive. That's Kyle Larson at Homestead. We kind of knew that coming in, that it could be like that. So it's cool to sit here and watch that happen.
And we'll see how this shakes out. As Adam said, the 41 car has been the car that has challenged them the most today. So they're ready to go battle them out here.
I've never really wanted to be a crew chief, but I'd like to be a crew chief. Kyle Larson at Homestead. Me too. Hey, Kyle Larson at Bristol. All right, take either one of them. So we're pretty sure Larson's going to take the bottom. The leader's taking the bottom every time, both the truck race last night and the Xfinity race today. But when you're the leader and you take the bottom, you're going to have to defend the inside going into turn 1. No, this is a green-white checker. There's, no one's going to hold anything back. I think Mayer takes the outside. It's just going to be how that launch goes and who gets the help and who doesn't. And to try to explain to everybody at home, this is like ice. Like, even though you're on new tires, but once they start spinning on this restart, you can't do anything about it and until you get to the corner. It's just so hard once they start spinning. And then the guy behind you wants to help you. Like, no, I don't need help right now.
Yeah, we are going into overtime. It'll be 1 lap past the scheduled distance with that extra caution lap here towards the end. Kyle Larson taking the inside. Sam Mayer takes inside of row 2. So that leaves the 3rd place car of Austin Hill to be on the outside of the front row for the restart. Alongside Mayer will be Justin Allgaier in the 7 in row 2 on the outside also. Only 6 cars on the lead lap at the time of the free pass with Jesse Love, so he gets the restart up here as well. And the reason why he's at the front of the field, not at the tail end, because a lot of drivers took the wave around. Daniel Dye, Harrison Burton, Carson Kvapil, Nick Sanchez, Brandon Jones. 2-lap overtime shootout, despite the fact that he had a 16.5-second lead at the time of the caution. Austin Hill trying to go for back-to-back at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Sam Mayer trying to get his first win of the season. If we see a new winner again, we'll have 6 different winners in the first 6 races of the NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Larson trying to be the first Cup regular to go to victory lane in the Xfinity Series this year. Green flag in the air. Larson spins the tires on the restart. Oh my goodness, he just lost the lead, and here comes Austin Hill into the first turn trying to hold off Justin Allgaier. Austin Hill is out in front. Allgaier to 2nd, and Larson is in 3rd. Allgaier crossing over to the inside of Hill as they work their way off turn 2. 21. The 7 on the inside, the 21 up high, trying to pinch him down on the bottom of the track. Sam Mayer's up to 3rd. Larson falls to 4th. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. It's a drag race for turn 1 between the Hill and 7 of Allgaier machines. Allgaier drives it in deep. He's going to slide up clear of Austin Hill, who seemed to have overdrove the corner himself. And Allgaier's cleared down the back straightaway by about 3 car lengths. Sam Mayer to the inside for 2nd on Austin Hill, heading into 3 and 4 for the final time. And Justin Allgaier is going to win at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Unbelievable. Don't call it a comeback. Allgaier steals it. He'll go 2 in a row. He pulled a reverse Justin Allgaier. That seemed like something Justin Allgaier would have done from the lead on a restart late. Spin the tires, lose the lead, and then instead it's Allgaier in the reverse getting the win. Kyle Larson had a 16.5-second lead. Caution comes out. He spins the tires on the restart, finishes 4th. Allgaier led 21 laps today. Larson led 132 out of 201 as we went 1 lap past the scheduled distance. Caution did come out right before it will be under yellow for Justin Allgaier, but he does get the win. Unbelievable. Off the exit of turn 4, he had a flat right rear tire. It was a legitimate caution. And a crash coming to the checker, which is where that caution flag had taken place. So it was not a race ender. The leaders did technically get to the start-finish line at the time of the yellow, so margin of victory 0.3 of a second for Justin Allgaier over Sam Mayer, with that being the case. Yeah, we did get to our double or like goal, up over 100. Greatly appreciate that, everybody. You'll get to hear from race winner Justin Allgaier. He also wins $100,000 for the Dash for Cash. Larson just looks disgusted. This is two races in a row. 2 nights in a row that the win was stolen from the guy who dominated. Corey Heim last night led over 80 laps out of 134, won the first 2 stages. Engine problems in the final 10 laps dropped him to 3rd. Kyle Larson, 16.5-second lead, 132 out of 201 laps led. Spins the tires, finishes 4th. Here's Allgaier, your race winner.
Them off. We're talking Larson, Sam Mayer, both so good.
Just a testament to this team. I always say God is good, and today's one of those days where it wasn't our day. We got behind and we were able to persevere. And to get this trademark nitrogen brand for restaurant agriculture, Chevrolet and Victory Lane is special. But I told you yesterday, if there's anywhere I could win, it would be here, because I just feel like this place has gotten me so many times. So thank you to all the fans that are here. My wife and daughters were supposed to come today, so they're back at home. I love you. All of our partners, everybody at Junior Motorsports, Hendrick Engine Shop, Hendrick Chassis Shop, everybody Chevrolet, Hellman's, Jarrett, Carolina Carports, Toughco, Sam, Off Axis Paint, Arai, K1, everybody that's a part of this. But Jim Pullman told me right there at the end, he said, we got a shot at it, and we did. And I was actually bummed to see the caution come out, and it worked out in our favor. So I'm bummed that I maybe got the triple from Kyle, because I think he's going to have a great shot at it tomorrow. But we're in the right place at the right time. I'm really proud of this race team.
And oh, by the way, $100,000. Richard, you won the Dash for Cash. How does that feel?
It feels great, because I forgot that was even a thing today after the race win. So huge thanks to Xfinity and Comcast for all they do for the sport. That last restart was as fast as Xfinity Mobile, but the rest of it wasn't. But just so much fun today, and I love being a part of this sport, and it's really cool when you have a day like today.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Allgaier restarted 4th, outside row 2. He was more than 20 seconds off the lead when the caution flag had come out, with a couple laps to go.
You can wrap your head around the disappointment of
Here's Kyle Larson
after the day you had today.
I don't know. I've lived through it a number of times here, but yeah, obviously bummer again to have another Homestead race play out that way. Just yeah, I can't go when my rear tires are off the ground. So, and it looks like I choked another one way, but I did everything I thought I could. And the 41 just lagged back and slammed the shit out of me. So bummer, but cool to have as big of a lead that we had. I would have loved to get a win for everybody in the 17 car. They don't get to race all the time, so it's good. We can run up front like we did today. So got one more opportunity in this thing later on here in a few weeks. So we'll see if we can get it done then.
He was the show today. There's no doubt about that. 4th place for Kyle Larson.
No question.
I will say, when Sam Mayer had gotten into the back of Kyle Larson on that restart, it looked like he got into him well after the restart zone. I think Larson spun the tires well before Mayer gave him the push. And then when Mayer did get to the back bumper of him, then he was starting to wiggle back and forth a little more. But Larson just did not go through the zone. They got through the zone. That's when Austin Hill took up. He got to the lead initially. Allgaier ended up drag racing him down the back straightaway, then down the front straightaway, headed into turn 1 as well on the final lap of the race, and ended up eventually passing him for the win. But yeah, Larson, I mean, he just didn't go. He didn't go. He was trying to go, obviously. The tires were spinning, and then Mayer hit him after the tires spun. He got even more sideways, and eventually ended up losing even more traction. I think that hit from Mayer probably affected him not being able to pick up the grip as quick, but he definitely lost it on the restart before Mayer had the contact with him, from what I've seen on multiple replays, at least with my own 2 eyes. That's my 2 cents in it, at least. Justin Allgaier with the race win. We'll go through the rest of the finishing results here. Sam Mayer finishes second. Again, margin of victory, 0.3 of a second. Mayer doesn't win the Dash for Cash, too. So we talk about Larson getting the heartbreak for the win. Sam Mayer was 8 seconds ahead of Austin Hill in second place, looking like he easily had the $100,000 bonus for the Dash for Cash. So not only Larson loses the race on the restart, but Mayer loses stuck behind Larson on the restart, who also got bottlenecked in there. And he doesn't win the $100,000 Dash for Cash. He still finishes second, but Justin Allgaier will get the win and the $100,000 bonus. The top 4 finishers of the Xfinity Series regulars, Allgaier, Mayer, Hill, and Creed, will get to compete for the Dash for Cash next week. So Sam Mayer will get another shot at it at Martinsville, but it sucks to see that go away for him late. Austin Hill ends up third, as I mentioned already. Kyle Larson fourth, 0.9 of a second off the lead at the finish. Sheldon Creed fifth, Jesse Love sixth. Seventh for Brandon Jones, Nick Sanchez eighth, Daniel Dye ninth, Carson Quapple finishes 10th. Harrison Burton last car in the lead lap at 11th, as we did have 6 drivers take the wave around after that last caution. We did only have 5 cars in the lead lap when the yellow came out with 7 to go for Taylor Gray spinning. Connor Zilic ends up finishing in 12th. 1 lap down, first car lap down. Dean Thompson 13th, Brennan Poole 14th, Jeb Burton 15th, Justin Bonsignor 16th, Parker Retzlaff 17th, Anthony Alfredo 18th, Josh Williams 19th, and Ryan Ellis 20th. Sammy Smith in 21st, Ryan Sieg 22nd, Taylor Gray 23rd, William Sawalich 24th, Blaine Perkins 25th, Jeremy Clements 26th, Kyle Sieg 27th, Brad Perez 28th, Joey Gase 29th, Mike Snyder 30th, Garrett Smithley 31st, Chris Wright 32nd, Patrick Emmerling 33rd, Leland Honeyman 34th, Mason Maggio 35th. Matt DiBenedetto ended up pulling off the track late with 22 laps to go, finishes 36th off track. Corey Heim 37th and Chris Neck is 38th. Those two both had engine failures. Not sure what the issue was for DiBenedetto. He was in the top 20, so tough break to finish 36th when he had a good day going for him with that Viking Racing team. So 3 drivers DNF'd in total in this race. We had 6 cautions, 16 lead changes. 4 cautions per incident, 3 of which in stage 1, and then 1 setting up the overtime restart late as well. 31 laps ran under the yellow. 2 hours, 38 minutes, 39 seconds total time on the race. And again, 1 lap past the scheduled distance. So we ended up with 201 laps complete in today's originally scheduled 200-lap, 300-mile race at Homestead. Appreciate everybody tuning in for this one. Wild finish. Larson dominated, but it's Justin Allgaier getting the win, getting the Dash for Cash $100,000 bonus. And we'll see if Larson can get redemption tomorrow in the Cup race. Even though he didn't win this one, I'm still taking him to win the Cup race tomorrow. But he will not get the three-peat here this weekend. Appreciate everybody tuning in throughout the course of the stream. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. We more than doubled our like goal, over 100 for the stream. And we will be back at it at 2:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon as well on the channel. On the road to 6,000 subs. So hit the subscribe button, helps the channel out a ton. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon for the NASCAR Cup Series. Our pre-race begins at 2:30. Drop of the green flag scheduled for 3:20 Eastern. So we'll be going live relatively early, about 50 minutes before the drop of the green flag for our pre-race. Give you my predictions of who I think will run well, not run well in the race. We'll do a little trivia in the pre-race as we've been doing for the Cup Series streams this year. You guys can play along with that as well. So having some fun before the actual fun begins for a 400-mile, 267-lap race. Have a good rest of your Saturday night, everybody. I'll have a clip of the finish up with my commentary here within the next probably 30 minutes or so. Thanks for watching.